The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning. The summer of BP hell continues as the utility is powerless. Residents seeking refuge from power cuts during the holiday weekend. Western New Providence residents left frustrated after weekend outages and more excuses from BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeQuesta Dean will be joining us. Also, this morning, we promised it for you last week, but we'll do it today. We'll talk about historical names across the country. What's behind these street names, settlement names, and more. Get into that today. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, one man is dead and another in the hospital after they were shot outside a business in Western New Providence. This happened yesterday. Superintendent Alfonso Lewis from the Black Scorpion Unit, a collaborative effort between the police force and the defense force, said that both men were known to police. We're told that sometime around 11:45 a.m., the police got information of gunshots reported in the West Bay Street area, and that police arrived around noon and found the two men had been shot. Police have not identified the men as yet, but police also reported a shooting on Rosetta Street on Monday, the holiday, the Emancipation Day holiday. Police say that the victim was transported to the hospital and his condition still not clear at this time. A seaplane attempting to take off in waters in Bimini Saturday collided with a floating dock and later sank in 100 feet of water. The plane, a white, blue, and red 2014 Cessna 28B Grand Caravan seaplane, operated by Tropic Ocean Airways, was carrying 8 passengers and 2 crew. There were no injuries, and all aboard were able to safely escape from the sinking plane. Police say that as the plane attempted to depart, it encountered heavy vessel traffic in its intended path. A man whose Staffordshire Bull Terriers mauled a 9-year-old American boy at Bimini Cove Resort is behind bars now awaiting sentencing. 34-year-old Harrington Roll admitted charges of negligently causing grievous harm, permitting a dangerous dog to be at large, and being the owner of a dangerous, out-of-control dog that caused harm to a person in a public place, at his arraignment before Acting Chief Magistrate Ansel Evans on Friday evening. Bo Bratton of Miami, Florida, was staying at a condo resort in South Bimini at that resort with his parents He left the condo to collect sand at around 10 a.m. on July 28th when he was savaged by 6 dogs, leaving him with life-threatening injuries. Bo sustained multiple injuries to his head and body during the mauling, before an unknown man chased the dogs away. Bo was airlifted to Florida by the U.S. Coast Guard and underwent 2 surgeries, one of them lasting 10 hours at Jackson Memorial Hospital. Police arrested Roll, a dockmaster at the resort, after reviewing security footage. Police say that the dogs were kept in a storage... Well, the owner, Roll, said the dogs were kept in a storage shed, but that the lock on the shed was defective. Prosecutors showed the magistrate photos of Bo's injuries as owner Roll hung his head and replied, quote, "I have no answer for that. I would have been in the wrong." His sentence will happen later this week. Bo's family is seeking to raise $350,000 on GoFundMe. As of Monday, the campaign has raised over $225,000. Some residents in southwestern Providence still seeking refuge at public spaces yesterday to escape ongoing power cuts throughout New Providence. One longtime resident of Coral Harbor said the unstable electricity supply over the holiday weekend, paired with the high summer temperatures, left residents feeling restless and frustrated. And for thousands of residents in western New Providence, what was meant to be a fun-filled holiday weekend turned into a nightmare after hours-long power outages. Some residents telling the NASA Guardian that they rented hotel rooms, spent hours in their cars, or slept by a loved one to escape the heat. The issue started on Thursday when an electrical fire caused by a cable fault at the Blue Hills Power Station caused an island-wide blackout. By Friday, a new issue emerged at the Windsor Field feeder. BPL CEO Tony Pratt said a failure of the feeder affected residents in Coral Harbor, Westridge, Sandyport, Carmichael Road, Sea Beach Estates, and other communities along West Bay Street. Meanwhile, F&M Deputy Leader Shandon Cartwright saying that the government is shameless in its handling of the energy policy, which he labeled a failure. Saying in a statement, quote, "The Davis administration continues to insult the Bahamian people with their utterances and excuses on BPL. This holiday weekend, tens of thousands of Bahamians and small businesses had to contend yet again with a barrage of extended outages and input. Simply put, and by any measurement, the Bahamian people are suffering because the government's national energy policy is a complete and utter failure." A weekend fire at the Exuma Healthcare Center resulting in minimal damage, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. In a statement yesterday, it said that the minister, Dr. Michael Darville, along with senior health officials, conducted an assessment tour of the facility to determine the extent of the damage. That fire happened on Saturday night. And police have charged 3 suspected drug smugglers following the seizure of 2,380 pounds of marijuana worth over $5 million. 55-year-old Dwight Newbold, 35-year-old Cordero McBride, and 46-year-old Kendall Thomas facing charges of drug possession with intent to supply, drug importation, conspiracy to possess drugs with intent to supply, and conspiracy to import drugs, and conspiracy when they were arraigned before Senior Magistrate Raquel Wims. The men were arrested in international waters south of Great Inagua on July 25th during a joint operation with the U.S. Coast Guard and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The Coast Guard stopped and boarded the vessel on behalf of the Defense Force and seized 97 bales of marijuana with a wholesale street value of $5.9 million. Wims denied the accused bail, and the prosecutor objected to their pretrial release. Trial is scheduled for December. Overseas, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's migration policies have come under withering criticism as leaders from across the European Union meet today following last week's rush of migrants to a Spanish territory in North Africa. The sudden arrival of 50 to 60,000 migrants on Thursday and Friday sparked a humanitarian crisis and reignited the immigration debate in the 27-nation bloc. Though most of the migrants soon went back, more than 80 migrants died, including some who drowned or were trampled in a stampede to cross a breakwater barrier. That's according to Spanish and Moroccan authorities. Open letters from 22 EU leaders and a quick retort from Sanchez have exposed a roiling debate inside the EU, pitting migration hawks against the progressive Spanish leader who has challenged consensus within the bloc on migration, as well as NATO spending, Gaza, and Israel. Sanchez's government has dismissed the attacks as politically motivated, saying most of the migrants were pushed back within hours in close coordination with the Moroccan authorities and with very little support from other European states. Regardless of the meeting's outcome today, Europe is displaying a deeply damaging disunity as it faces security threats from Moscow, instability with Washington, and economic tension with Beijing, according to observers. A British maritime monitoring agency says a cargo ship reported being hit by a projectile overnight off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz, while the United States and Iran made opposing claims about whether they were holding talks. U.S. President Donald Trump Monday said the two sides are resuming talks to wind down the war, but Iran is insisting it only was talking with Oman and the discussion focused on the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, that cargo ship reported being hit by an unknown projectile at around 2 a.m. while it was 23 miles northeast of Al-Qasab in Oman. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center did not provide further information on the ship, including what flag the vessel was sailing under or whether it was carrying cargo. The ship suffered damage, according to the British maritime security firm Ambre, which did not elaborate. Ebola has killed more than 1,700 in Eastern Congo in the fastest-growing outbreak of the disease. As of Tuesday, 3,802 cases have been recorded, with 1,707 deaths, according to the latest government update. It's not clear when the outbreak will reach its peak. Africa's CDC Director General saying that nearly 80% of new cases are not coming from contact tracing, but instead from community spread. And the Director General of the World Health Organization will arrive in the Congolese capital of Kinshasa today, as expected to visit Bunia later this week. That outbreak, declared on May 15th, has been linked to the Bundibugyo virus, for which there are no approved vaccines or treatments. Delays in contact tracing, difficulties accessing affected areas, mistrust from communities, and violence by armed groups and some residents have hampered the response. And from Cuba, Sunday marking the sixth island-wide blackout since the U.S. Trump administration effectively cut Cuba off from oil, its main energy source, in January. The move plunging the endemically crisis-stricken country into free fall, while authorities on Monday said they were working to get the power back on. Much of the island still had no electricity later in the day. The energy grid collapses have left people with fewer options to get by as the U.S. maintains its pressure campaign against a communist-led government. The recurring power outages combined with stifling heat have created collective insomnia on the island as residents struggle to get through the night. The day of the latest blackout on Sunday, the temperature hit 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but ended up feeling like 106 Fahrenheit when combined with the Caribbean's 80% humidity levels. It marks just one of the growing struggles for the Caribbean island, where day-to-day life has grown increasingly difficult since the U.S. threatened to impose a tariff on any goods from countries that sell or provide it with oil. It was a debilitating blow after decades of U.S. economic sanctions, with the island's infrastructure crumbling and a surge in migration. Many residents finding that they had to sleep on the beach for relief on Sunday.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, just a handful of Bahamians were in action at the 2026 Commonwealth Games as they wrapped up over the Emancipation Day holiday weekend over in Scotland. Leading the way was judoka Cara Hanna, who secured a second top 5 finish at a major event in less than a week. Hanna won an historic bronze medal for the Bahamas in the women's 78 kilogram plus division. Hanna's bronze is the first ever medal for the Bahamas in judo at the Commonwealth Games level, and added to Devin Charlton's gold from Friday. The Bahamas finished in a 3-way tie for 20th overall with Fiji and the Isle of Man with 2 total medals of gold and a bronze. Australia topped the medal standings with 70 gold, 45 silver, and 56 bronze medals for a total of 171. England finished second with 29 gold, 45 silver, and 36 bronze medals with 110 total medals. And Canada rounding out the top 3 nations with 19 gold, 20 silver, and 23 bronze medals for 62 total medals. Jamaica was the top performing Caribbean country, finishing 8th overall with 10 gold, 4 silver, and 5 bronze medals for 19 in total. From the CAC Games, Bahamian professional wrestler Shannon Hanna II continued to make history, competing in the wrestling sporting discipline at the Games in the Dominican Republic. After winning the country's first international medal in wrestling at the 2024 Senior Pan American Wrestling Championships 2 years ago, Hanna winning a silver medal in the men's freestyle 65 kilograms class. He breezed through the rounds before running into Puerto Rico's Joseph, who won 3-0 by points. Despite the loss in the final, Hanna became the first Bahamian professional in wrestling to win a medal at the CAC Games, and he's also clinched the country's first and only medal of this year's quadrennial competition so far. European soccer body UEFA has threatened FIFA with legal action over Gianni Infantino's failed plan to sell a stake in future World Cup profits to private investors, and said that any potential evidence should not be destroyed. Infantino's secretive proposal to raise $4.2 billion from investors, including the New York investment firm of Joshua Kushner, was dropped early Saturday, days after the revelation in media provoked a global furor. UEFA led the backlash, and on Thursday, its 55-member federations met to agree boycotting all FIFA events and competitions while the proposal was active. Now, lawyers for the UEFA have informed FIFA that the European body is actively considering legal action, arbitration, and/or regulatory complaints arising out of and in connection with the FFE, the FIFA Forward Enterprise Plan, proposed by FIFA and all related matters. That letter, dated Friday, has been seen by the Associated Press. The letter named 18 FIFA executives who said it should retain data, documents, and electronic messages as potential evidence. They include Infantino and Zurich-based Chief Finance Officer Thomas Payer and Arsene Wenger, the coaching great who is FIFA's head of global soccer development. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. We've got a heat advisory again in effect for the southeast Bahamas today. All residents and visitors advised to remain hydrated, limit outdoor activities, and seek shaded and well-ventilated areas during peak sunshine hours. We've also got the combination of a mid to upper level disturbance along with rich tropical moisture, along with a tropical wave moving south of the area. That's going to keep chances for unsettled weather elevated for the northern, northwest, and portions of the central Bahamas today into tonight. Meanwhile, high pressure ridging will continue to produce moderate to locally fresh winds. So there is a moderate to high risk for isolated strong to severe thunderstorms today, particularly across the northern half of the country. These storms are capable of producing strong, gusty winds, frequent lightning, dangerous downpours, heavy downpours, and waterspout activity. And there's a slight to moderate risk of rip currents for Atlantic coastal waters and east and southeast sheltered coastal waters of parts of the central and the entire southeast Bahamas today. And again, we're looking at another day with the UV index in the very high to extreme range, especially for the central and southeast Bahamas today. So your forecast for today, a rainy day in store for the northern half of the country, partly cloudy to cloudy with a 30 to 50% chance of showers with thunderstorms. Wind southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy or a mix of sun and clouds today with a 20 to 30% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts possible for the central islands, and east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots for the southeastern islands. Temperatures today, highs around 91 Fahrenheit, 33. But that heat index is going to make it feel like it's 99 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius for the central islands, 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius for the southeastern Bahamas. But the northern half of the country with the cloud cover and the potential for rain, the heat index up today. Overnight lows, though, lows getting down to a very high 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
At RBC, we think it's your ideas that build a life. And sometimes to keep an idea moving forward, you need a little help. That's why with the loan from RBC, there are no upfront bank fees. And with up to 100% financing, up to 10 years to repay and competitive rates and terms, there's never been a better time to start the conversation. Let's talk loans. Visit rbc.com/loans today. Your idea of getting there happens here. Conditions apply, subject to normal lending criteria.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Did you know that world-class medicine is just a quick flight away in Tampa? Tampa General is Florida's premier academic health system and one of America's top hospitals. Our global medicine program delivers advanced treatment options, assists with coordinating travel, and provides cultural support from a multilingual team. Discover the power of academic medicine at Tampa General's Global Medicine Program. For more, Visit tgh.org/global medicine.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Everybody Wins Live, the winning is bigger, the action is hotter, and the excitement never stops. We're giving away thousands in cash and free spins every month through our high-paying casino tournament. From Spin-Off to Spin Rush to our high-energy slot race tournament, your next spin can turn into your next payroll. Lottery players can chase the jackpot, where every $10 lottery spend gets you one step closer to bursting the next jackpot. Will you be our next winner? What are you waiting for? Visit Everybody Wins Live to see all the ways you can cash in.
Every day in a busy world, we have to just give CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Back to school just got easier at Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street. We've got school shirts with official embroidered logos for R.M. Bailey, S.C. McPherson, A.F. Adderley, Kingsway, Queens College, L.W. Young, and many more. From shirts and blouses to jumpers, skirts, shorts, and pants, we've got uniforms for almost every school in the Bahamas. So, skip the stress and shop at Carey's today. Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758. That's Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store, where back-to-school shopping is a breeze.
Cool. I just paid my insurance premium online.
That is cool. But how about an insurance portal that does that and more? NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents. All fully online. With NUA, you have so much more than just a payment portal. You have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at morningblend969 or facebook.com/morningblend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, DeQuesta Dean. DeQuesta Dean, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to August.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Hope you had a wonderful Emancipation Day holiday.
Very quiet.
Getting ready for Christmas?
Not yet. Okay. But may as well.
You're behind.
But may as well.
I saw
the
Americans started advertising Halloween stuff.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Next month it'll be Christmas stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend? Quiet?
It went by in a blur.
Oh, yeah. It did go by very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It did go. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and for some people, it was a blur and very, very hot. Or maybe it wasn't a blur. Maybe it was very long and drawn out and extremely hot and dark because of BPL. We're going to get into that quite a lot this morning, a lot to talk about with them and what seems to be a massive crisis for them and the energy sector in the country. So that's coming up. But also, we promised this on Friday, but we're going to do it today. Historical names, and it's the holiday over the weekend, Emancipation Day. We've got a lot of names around here, dating back many decades, centuries even, and we don't even know why. Why is this street called this? Why is this town called this? Why is this settlement called this? What is this about? And historian Christopher Davis is going to be here.
That should be interesting.
To help us navigate and understand and, come to appreciate or say, no, that needs to change. Maybe. Who knows, right?
Yeah. I'm excited about that conversation, actually.
Looking forward to it. Might even find out some interesting things about our own names.
Yeah.
So that's all ahead, but let's get into what else is in the news. And in the news, some of the good news that happened over the weekend, a lot of it not in the country, but involving Bahamians doing well at some of the big sporting events taking place around the world, the Commonwealth Games and the CAC Games. So a bronze medal for judoka Kara Hanna. She's been making a lot of headlines recently for great stuff that she's doing in the world of judo, and she won the bronze in the women's 78-plus kilogram class. New Zealand winning the gold there, and Cameroon winning the silver, but Kara Hanna with the Bahamas getting the bronze medal. So congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Wonderful
in judo.
Stuff. Yeah,
nice.
In judo. And it's her second international medal in just a few months, maybe even weeks, yes. And then in wrestling, another Hannah. What's going on with the Hannahs? Shannon Hannah II winning silver for the Bahamas in the men's 65 kilogram in freestyle wrestling at the CAC Games. CAC Games going on in the Dominican Republic. So congratulations to him. Great stuff there. And I think we need more Bahamians in freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman wrestling. Got people with a lot of pent-up frustration and energy. Maybe they could take it out on the mat or something.
In a positive way, yeah.
Men and women. I've always
but that's
wondered,
not like there's different type of wrestling.
Freestyle
right?
and Greco-Roman.
Okay.
Don't mix
and
it
what
up
he did?
with
He did the freestyle. Yes.
Don't mix it up with the professional.
Right. Where you're jumping off the ring and all that. Not that.
That's wrestling entertainment.
Right.
It's a little bit different. We've got some people in that as well, and that's fine. But yeah.
Congratulations to him too.
Great stuff going on there. So I think the CAC Games continue, but the Commonwealth Games wrapped up yesterday.
And this is also where Charlton got the goal, or that was someplace else?
That was the Commonwealth Games.
The Commonwealth
Yes, that
Games,
was
okay.
Commonwealth Games last week, and Devin Charlton winning the gold there. So we got 2 medals at the Commonwealth Games, placing, I think it said we were 19th, was it?
No, okay.
Let's see.
That's great. Like you say, positive news.
Yeah. Yes. 20th, you're right. 20th, 3-way tie for 20th with Fiji and Isle of Man. Yeah. And Jamaica, the top performing Caribbean country, placing 8th overall, but Australia, England, and Canada rounding out the top 3.
Oh, I understand now.
Commonwealth game, all the people
Right, within
all
the
people
Commonwealth, yes,
with
yes.
King Charles.
Not
is there.
Caribbean, Commonwealth, yes.
Right. CAC games is Central America, Caribbean.
Gotcha.
Okay, great stuff. Keep up the great work. Yeah, and I'm watching the Commonwealth Games. Watch a bit of it over the past few days. Like, there's so many. You keep saying this after these international games. There's so many other sports we could get people into. But one day. All right. So, did your power stay on over the weekend, DeQuesta?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
All of that?
Yeah, you did enough for me too.
Yes. Thank God.
It's now the challenge for the Western New Province.
Yes, that's what it
Western and
seems
Southwest. Coral Harbor. I don't know what you all did, but this is your time, and all of Western New Province having issues.
I have a friend in in the AIP. Torture
Airport
all weekend.
Industrial
Airport Industrial.
Park, yeah.
She was like, and then it came on, and it was on for like a few minutes, and then gone again.
Yeah.
You know.
Very rough.
But not just power. I know we're talking about power, but the BTC telephone. They had all of this weekend.
Related to
I don't know that it was related, but all 3 of those things were happening one time. There were notices posted, and she had them on her status, and you know it's to watch because you know the torture that people are experiencing. You know.
Yeah. No, this is terrible. And I've been joking about it that the BPL WhatsApp channel must be the most active WhatsApp channel in the entire of
They're
all
really
of
good at
WhatsApp.
they're really good at the updates though, Dwight.
You're a positive person because you're looking at it. And how you said it was so interesting. They're really good at the updates.
Yeah, they post like we're sorry, but this is out.
Yeah, that's
no timeline for restoration, but you they keeping.
So they're good at updates and bad at keeping the power on. Okay.
Yes.
But the updates just are nonstop, and if you don't look in there for a few hours, when you come back, you have to scroll down so far to see the latest thing because it's so many updates.
Yeah.
So many things have happened since you last looked just 6 hours ago.
Why? But the person that running that WhatsApp group has to have a strong fortitude because, child.
If it's one person, I'm sorry for him or her.
Yeah, if it's one person.
But wow, this is very, very sad what's going on. So so many issues because it started from Thursday, and for most people, that was it. But for other people, it has not stopped.
Yeah.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the holiday,
Monday.
people having issues, many different failures, many different excuses as to what's going on, and it's just been a nightmare for so many. And then we heard this was very strange, a very long message from the chair of BPL's board, Christina Alston. And now I listened, but it was very long. And I don't remember this part, but I think all of us need to listen to it carefully because the Tribune's headline says that she's urging businesses to use less power.
I really can't.
I must have blocked that out. Did she say that in that message? We're going to listen to the whole thing. I'm sorry to put you through it, but we're going to listen to the whole thing.
What?
Did she say this?
What?
Businesses urged to use less power. So just shut down then.
Yeah,
Might as well
essentially.
Just come back in the fall.
Yeah, or work reduced hours or work 3 days out the week, or how do you use less power? Like let's just look at a grocery store. How is the store going to use less power? It doesn't make sense.
So they're writing an extraordinary appeal that underscored the depth of the strain. BPL, they're saying. Okay, so they're not saying Alston said this. They're saying the COO says. Okay, so I didn't hear that. I knew I didn't hear that. So it's the Chief Operating Officer, Anthony Christie, said this. He's urging large businesses and government entities to reduce their reliance on the country's only electricity grid
By
so the
doing
utility
what?
could manage demand and improve service to other customers.
What? So they're not valued customers then? That's major, Dwight.
That's pretty bad.
That's major. So you know what they should do, right? They should incentivize businesses to do that by giving them, a stipend, right? Let's say you give them, I'm being serious. Whoever is suggesting that these businesses, whoever,
BPL that has to pay Bahamas Grid.
Yeah, whoever
the
is
little money
making the
it takes in?
suggestion, either them or the government could incentivize the businesses or supplement the businesses.
So you don't like electricity at all then, because this will only cause everything to collapse.
It doesn't make sense that you're telling a business to reduce the amount of electricity when the electricity that they're using is necessary for their operation. So they're going to be at a loss to reduce the strain on the grid. So what are you going to do to offset that? We just can't come out here and say, hey, do this to make it better for us. Okay, what are you going to do for the small businesses or the businesses that you're asking to help take the demand off? They still have salaries. They still got to pay you. They still have other utilities. They still have benefits. They still have rent. They still have all these things that need to be paid. So what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can find more on what Christie's saying here. I don't see it. Oh, it's just that one line? Okay. Well, that's crazy. That's COO, Anthony Christie. Well, again, Chair Christina Alston had a very long message to the Bahamian people. Take a listen to this.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Christina, and I'm the Executive Chairman of Bahamas Power and Light. I want to speak to you directly, the Bahamian people, about the power outages that have disrupted homes and businesses and daily life across New Providence. I understand the frustration. I'm also a mother, and I know how full well what it means when power is disrupted. When your home becomes uncomfortable and your children cannot settle, food and medication are at risk, and the normal rhythm of family life is disrupted. Like so many of you, I also experienced that frustration. I know that when the power goes off, it's more than just an inconvenience. It affects your ability to work and care for your family, operate your business, and feel comfortable in your own home. On behalf of Bahamas Power and Light, I sincerely apologize for the hardship these disruptions have caused. I also want to assure you that we hear you and that our teams are working around the clock to stabilize the systems and restore reliable services. The challenges facing BPL did not develop overnight. We are operating with aging generation equipment and a grid that has been under strain for many, many years. We have put foundational projects in place, and although they are coming to fruition, they are not at their final state. More recently, record-breaking heat and weather anomalies, equipment failures, fires have put even greater pressure on our system, contributing to these widespread outages and in some cases, yes, island-wide power disruptions. Investigations are now underway into the electrical fire at the Blue Hills Power Station that triggered Wednesday's island-wide power outage in New Providence. Preliminary assessment indicates that a suspected fault in one of the underground cables led to a transformer fire. Our teams are working to determine precisely what occurred, the full impact on the system, and then take the necessary steps to reduce the risk of a similar event happening again in the future. We will share further information as that investigation progresses. But I want you to know that we have a plan in place. We have contingency measures in place, but these contingencies have limits. When several serious events occur in close succession, even the best backup plans can be stretched beyond what they were designed to withstand. I know that's not an excuse, but it is the reality that we are confronting, and it's the responsibility that we must address. Our immediate to stabilize the system safely return affected equipment to service, and then reduce the frequency and the duration of the outages. At the same time, though, we are advancing the longer-term program, which is required to strengthen the generation, modernize the grid, and build a more dependable electricity system for the Bahamas. Although this work must be done urgently, we also know that it must be done properly and safely. And we as an organization, we cannot and will not compromise the safety of our employees, our customers, or the wider public. I also want to take this moment to extend my deepest condolences to the family of our colleague, Lawrence Cooper, who tragically lost his life while working on high voltage lines in Grand Key, Abaco. His passing is a painful reminder of the risk that our teams, my teams, face when we work to serve communities across our great country. My thoughts and all of the thoughts of the Bahamas and prayers remain with his family, his loved ones, and my colleagues during this very, very difficult time. These are the moments when we as utility people understand that the task ahead of us, how difficult it is, and how difficult our jobs can truly be. I know that moving forward in this space, that assurances alone will not build or restore confidence in BPL. Confidence will come from measurable improvements, greater reliability, and clearer communication from BPL. We accept that as our responsibility, and we know that the Bahamian people deserve better. To our customers, thank you for understanding what has been an extremely difficult period. To the men and women of BPL, working long hours in challenging conditions, thank you for your service. Personally, I know this is not an easy road. Island electrification systems are complex and they are definitely finicky. However, my commitment to you is not only bringing myself, but some of the world's best subject matter experts together to get it right this time. This is that moment in time that we have when technology, policy, and the gumption to get it done has come together. The road ahead will require time and sustained effort, but the work is already underway. At BPL, we remain committed to doing everything safely and responsibly to deliver the reliable power that the Bahamian people deserve. That is my commitment.
Okay, not sure if that just ends like that or really. Well, anyway, that was the chair of the BPL board, Christina Alston. There. Wow. Okay, a lot to say. First of all, that music. I don't know
that could drive me crazy.
That was insane.
Why was music behind this?
I'd rather the power be off than to hear that music. But anyway, let's get to what she said.
Dwight, I have a lot of issues. First and foremost, why is she speaking? That's a question that I have. Like, she's on the board of BPL. She's chairman of the board. What's the role of the chairman? And why is she speaking? We've already heard from the prime minister. We've already heard from Tony, the CEO or something. We heard the minister put out one statement. So why are we having all of these people with all of these different statements come out, right? Maybe the prime minister, maybe the minister, maybe the president, the CEO, because she's responsible for the operations, right? But all of this talk about being a mother and understanding how it feels don't make me feel any better. It doesn't make anyone else feel better that you have been suffering as well, right? I think what would be much better is if they truly came out and said, this is how frail the grid is. This is what we're dealing with. And this is what it's going to take. It's going to take rolling blackouts for 3 months. It's going to take, come and be transparent and honest about what it's don't tell me don't use electricity without telling me how frail your system is, how the system got to that point. Everyone with common sense know that the system is basically the same as it was 50 years ago, 30 years ago. All kind of homes have been added to the grid, all kinds of lights in the streets and all these different things that are on the grid that we're not using solar to power some of the... Everyone with common sense could see that the grid has been overwhelmed by the demand. So don't come and tell us what we already know. Come and tell us, okay, in 2 months, this is what's going to happen. However, for that to happen, we're gonna have the load shared here. Yes, it may be an irritant to us. However, if after 2 months we see, okay, from all this darkness, there's a little improvement, people would be more inclined to go along with the plan. But all this fluff that they coming out with does not help the person sleeping in their car, in the air conditioning in their car, or sleeping on the beach, or none of that. So that's what irritates me. Tell me that the grid is falling apart. Be honest. Tell me exactly that it's corroded, that whatever. And then tell me, okay, this is our 20-step plan, step 1, and then tell me this is the inconvenience to the Bahamian people to get us to that 20-point step goal. That makes more logical sense to me and might put me in a better position to say, okay, let me see what they do, because they've said this and now they're taking action. And every month they're coming to tell us, this is what we've done. This is what we've done.
I mean, she kind of said what you're saying, though.
No, I didn't.
They're putting things in place, but they're not ready.
Things?
Well, we know the solar and the LNG.
No.
They're doing this, but it's going to take some time. It's not ready this year. We know
and
that.
It won't be this year.
No, definitely not. But it will be.
And
maybe next year
don't
or
try
the
and
year
make it
after.
seem like it's something that's going to happen and we could expect it within. No, that did not help me, Dwight. That honestly, it didn't help me. It's just another person talking.
Well, all right, let's hear from you. Let's get your reaction to it. By the way, BPL and BGC, Bahamas Creek, set to hold a press conference this morning at 11 o'clock. And again, we've noted that BGC's been quite quiet. They were at the tour that the Prime Minister was on last week after the Blue Hills incident that led to the island-wide blackout. But not saying much at all. I guess it's not their issue. Is it not a generation? It's not a distribution and transmission issue, but only generation? Are we to believe that? This is what we're asking. Will we find out any clarity? Find any clarity today? I don't know. But this is.
I hope we find clarity today. Not another fluff press statement or press conference or whatever.
Don't hold your breath. All right, so let's hear from you. Let's get your reaction to it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Dwight. How are you doing this morning?
We're doing well. Good morning.
Please excuse me a moment. I can't hear you on the TV because the dog got hold of my remote control, so I can't turn my TV on.
Okay.
First of all, but Dwight, listening on the telephone to you and the lady talk, it's obvious that we've gone in a negative direction because since all of this started hitting us in this country, when you go in west, listening to The Guardian on your car radio, and you reach by Saunders Beach and starting to head west towards Life at Key, the signals to Guardian.
Yes, we're having some issues. We've said that while we work on it.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, we've told you we're having some issues ever since that.
Yeah, I
weeks
understand
ago.
that. But what was also discouraging to me yesterday, the effects of what's going on, not only with the electricity, but the cost of living around here. It really yesterday disappointed me. Yesterday was August Monday. Every August Monday, St. James Anglican Church in Adelaide normally have their annual fair. And when you turn off that main Adelaide Road into Adelaide Village, you can't even get through the corner. They have police protected from the main road. Yesterday we drove all the way down to Adelaide to go to their thing, and I couldn't believe it. When we pulled up there, no cars was down there. About 10 people with three tents was down there. I'm like, everybody seemed to have been staying home because maybe the cost of living, they've depleted their car gas money, their electrical bill money, their grocery money. So everybody seemed to have not really enjoyed that Easter Monday holiday other than Foxhill, Junkanoo. I think that was last night, early this morning.
Emancipation Day.
Because today is Foxhill Day.
Yeah.
But I'd like to say thank you very much to the Enius family. Dr. Enius is on your show. His family has some property down on Adelaide by the beach. And I remember going on there as a kid to the property, and I turned in there, and the family was down there, and they welcomed Sparky and guests.
Okay.
And we had a beautiful day on the beach in Adelaide.
Great. Thank you, Sparky.
Thank you, Sparky.
Emancipation Day.
Yeah.
Foxhill Days.
Yeah, and the cost of living is increasing, Sparky. So
Foxhill
yeah.
Days next week, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Second Tuesday. Always the second
Yeah.
Tuesday in August. Okay. Let's take another call. Talking about BPL. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning to both of you. Good morning to the wider Bahamas, Seattle and Johnston.
Hi, good morning.
Right. You remember when you was going to that press conference I said to you to get the information from them? And they was gonna gaslight you.
Oh, gee.
You know, Dwight, right, you know, there's something called a vision, right, from the company, which evolves into a strategy, then goes to a plan, execution, monitoring, reporting, and adjustment. We've been waiting from BPL for 5 years for this. We've been getting gaslighted. We've been getting fire hose, reverse gaslight, gish gallop, whatever it is. And the one thing we are not getting is what we need from them, a comprehensive strategy, a plan for execution, and monitoring to tell us what is your needs analysis, what is your root cause, gap analysis, the cost analysis, the time analysis, and whatever else. Comprehend. This is where we are today. This is where we need to be. This is what it's going to cost us. And this is the time it's going to take. That is what we expect from BPL. And from our walk around, spin us around, keep us in the dark, literally and figuratively, does not meet this need. We need to know current, what we have to do for the past, and what we have to do for the present. If we continue to allow them to gaslight us, fire hose us, and the fire hosing, Dwight, is where every day. So you remember you said, the question you say you keep getting information? That's called fire hosing. They keep you, you know, they say to put a fire hose on you to keep you, pushing you back. They keep feeding you information. And before you could digest it, they give you more information. It's a tactic of suppression of information and separating you from it. Dwight, we are in crisis. Dwight, you and I have been talking this for years, and I said to you, Dwight, you could check your record. I said by the end of 2025, the early part of 2026, we, because of the expansion of the needs of technology and all of these different things, that we would have an imminent collapse of the system. They said it to us, in small increments. Even the minister, if you go back to your newspaper over a year ago or 2 years ago, they said that the grid was in imminent collapse when Pike or whatever it is that came here. And so the question is, what have been done since then? Where is this so-called supposed plan? And if they don't give it to us, you know why they can't give it to us? I say they don't have one. And I wish they would call me out to be a liar, because I believe them to be a liar. They have no vision, no strategy, and no plan, and making up stuff as they go along for execution.
Okay, wow, interesting stuff. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Got a lot of your text messages here. It says that we know that for some people, when the electricity goes, the water goes. So that is for some people a nightmare.
Yeah.
This is back to the Commonwealth Games. They say compared to countries with millions of people, we did very well. The Commonwealth Games.
Great.
2 for 2 in your belly. Bahamas all the way. This texture says here, BTC's internet and landline services are still down since Sunday night, Monday morning. Whoa. Okay. Well, let's tell Bahamar and Atlantis to cut back. LOL. It's very strange. I don't know. Again, there's no expansion on this line, so I don't. Something seems a little off with this. But if he said this is very, very strange. Businesses urged to use less power.
How?
Large businesses and government entities to reduce their reliance, urging them to reduce their reliance on the country's only electricity grid so the utility can manage and demand. Unless he's encouraging them, imploring them to implement solar on their own,
Or what?
I don't
Maybe
know.
like do remote
But
work?
it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Turn off the lights when you leave the room.
Right.
Okay.
What?
I don't know. This person says here we need Pike back. They should run the entire company, especially the billing department.
Oh.
Okay. Isn't Christina Alston on the Bahamas Grid board? No, I don't believe that's correct at all. You're confused. No.
I just can't understand why she put herself in the line of fire.
You know, she's a former COO of BPL. So she's technically aware of all the things going on there. But still, whether it should be the chairman of the CEO
Right,
or
like
the
her
minister,
role.
I'm not sure.
Right.
But
And all of them are talking. Why?
it was lengthy, but we don't have any new information.
I don't know.
Just
Maybe she
that
was trying
I
to be
understand your
kind.
pain.
Maybe just trying to, I don't know, help us understand. But as a citizen, yes. In your position as chairman, no.
Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Grand Rising, Mr. Dwight Strachan to your guest.
Good morning.
Morning.
First time call out, but listen to your show from your first came on the radio.
Welcome.
Sitting in my car and just saying, to get the country right, all the Bahamians have to do is, first of all, let the police, the nurses, and everybody else go to work, and let the citizens stay home.
Say what?
Let the citizens stay home. Just stay home
And do what?
and just let the police
Wait.
and the defense force and the nurses go to work and shut the whole country down.
Okay, so we love sarcasm on this show, right? We love it. But are you being
People do it all over the world in civilized
You're
countries.
saying that we should protest by staying home. That's what you're
Just
saying.
stay home.
Okay.
Wait, what are you saying? You're saying that's what needs to happen in order for the grid not to collapse, or you're being serious?
No, that'll just get the government attention so that the people really have the power.
They would love
and
that so they
demand
don't
what
have
we
to
want.
pay you.
Mm-hmm.
They would love that so they don't have to pay you. That would cause even more problems.
No, I don't think so.
They won't pay you.
They need, government need its citizens to work.
Okay.
Business establishments need their citizens to go to work. But without the money, everybody just stay home and just chill out and look out for one another and we don't even have to pick up no gun, no arms or nothing.
I don't see that
We just been talking for the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Interesting perspective on stuff. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight, and morning to you. Oh,
Good morning.
I think what BBL is trying to recommend is that now businesses who have generators, they want to use the generators during the day to save them. That's what they want to do. And also, for the most part, chairmen are the person who normally speak for organizations, you know. The minister is the policy making person, but normally the chairman speaks on behalf of an organization. So I saw nothing wrong with speaking, but I just thought that too many people are saying the same
many
thing.
people.
And just giving the same old information.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people are speaking.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. This texter says the question of governance is different when it comes to a chairman, or especially if there's an executive chair. That person is usually the dirty cop because they parade as management as governance. In this case, a strong deputy chair and board is needed to check the chair because she is in the day-to-day. She actually should speak instead of the CEO.
Okay. Thanks for that.
I don't know if her title is executive chair, though.
I don't know.
But
There's plenty of people talking.
It's a lot, yeah. And we still are in the dark, literally and figuratively. The minister must be really feeling the heat. They even made songs about her. What is the plan? Bahamians, please be patient with BPL. Winter's coming, and all the BPL woes will be over. Oh, you believe that?
I don't.
Don't believe that. This person says here the solar and LNG will worsen the problem. Whoa. I noticed the British LNG guy said very plainly the LNG solution will only work with a functioning T&D network. Yikes. It's like adding strong fabric to a weak garment. The weak part will tear under the stress. I find it very hard to believe that among all these experts they say they have, no one speculated whether the grid could handle the increased power. Well, the public did. the public certainly has been saying this, but anyway, exactly what kind of planning was this? Shoot from the hip again? Does always seem that way. I agree with DeQuesta. Too much fluff and unnecessary speeches. What's up with all the BPL energy acronyms? I don't know what they mean and who is to be held accountable. Yeah, that's a lot going on. This person says the power in Sea Beach Estates was off so long this weekend, I felt like we were under attack.
Wow.
One excuse made after another, and they just made it up as people inquired. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, horrible. More than 10 plus hours every day.
Wow.
I don't believe any excuse they give, just BSing their way through it. Wow.
And that's the thing, though, Dwight. The more they talk, the less people. People already don't trust them. So the more this one, that one, Joe Blow, everybody talk, the less people are trusting what is being said.
Yeah. Let's take this call quickly before we go. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air. Are you there? Let's take that quickly. Caller, you got less than a... No? Okay. So people are, well, I guess in the darkness, very busy doing some funny things, including coming up with AI songs. This one passed. This one is great. Once you hear this is stuck in your head, and I'm going to play it multiple times today. So you will be humming this one all day long. Take a listen to this genius bit of AI music as we go to the news.
You like something AI?
This was great. Just take a listen to it.
I just sat down with a plate of peas and rice. Reached for the TV, grabbed the remote. All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party. The neighbors all came outside to chat. Some blame the weather, imagine that. The children crying no Wi-Fi today. Grandma wondering if the bill was paid. Mosquitoes smiling from ear to ear, saying the buffet is open here. Courtesy of BPL.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:16, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. So we've got a heat advisory in effect for the southeast Bahamas, and we are experiencing the combination of a mid to upper level disturbance along with rich tropical moisture and a tropical wave moving south of the area. All of this will keep chances for unsettled weather elevated for most of the country, the northern, northwest, and portions of the central Bahamas today through tonight. Meanwhile, high-pressure ridging will continue to produce moderate to locally fresh winds. So over the next couple of days, the unsettled weather pattern is expected to continue to about the middle of the week as a strengthening ridge of high pressure builds westward into the southwestern Atlantic, driving more tropical moisture over the islands, resulting in streaming showers and possible thunderstorms. There is a moderate to high risk for a few isolated strong to severe thunderstorms, particularly in the northern half of the country. And these storms are capable of producing strong gusty winds, frequent lightning, heavy downpours, and even waterspout activity. For today, there is a slight to moderate risk of rip currents for Atlantic coastal waters and east and southeast sheltered coastal waters, especially in the central and southeast Bahamas. And the UV index expected again to be in the very high to extreme range. So your forecast for today, most areas looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions. A mix of sun and clouds, though, for the southeast Bahamas. The northern half of the country looking at the elevated shower and thunderstorm chances, a 30 to 50% chance for those there. Only about a 20 to 30% chance for the southern half of the country. Look for high temperatures around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. The heat index will make it feel like it's 99 Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius for the central islands, or 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius for the southeastern islands. With the cloud cover and the rain chances, the heat index might not be a factor today for the northern half of the country. But it will be a warm night. Look for lows getting as high as 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius tonight. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly cloudy for most areas, a 20 to 30% chance of showers with isolated thunderstorms. Pretty much the same for Thursday into Friday and even Saturday. In the tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Professionals choose Sherwin-Williams for dependable performance and premium finishes. Visit your local Sherwin-Williams store today. And 8:19, time for training, brought to you by NUA Insurance. In your real-time traffic, we've got a few hot spots for you. You've got Mile Butler Highway looking busy. Heavy traffic from the Fire Trail roundabout. Heading east and westbound on the Fire Trail roundabout and near Faith Avenue, you're going to be seeing that slow-moving traffic there. But north of that area on Mile Butler Highway, if you're heading northbound, heavy traffic as you approach the ponds. All the way up to Tawny Bloom Starling Highway. Slow-moving traffic on Tawny Bloom Starling Highway westbound as well. Over on Blue Hill Road, it's busy near Carmichael. Even Carmichael is backed up quite a bit eastbound to Blue Hill Road. And from there straight up to Independence Drive, you'll be seeing that slow-moving, mainly northbound traffic onto that roundabout with Independence Drive. East Street South also busy for you north and south of the intersection with Soldier Road. If you're heading northbound, the traffic is slow and heavy there. And then Robinson Road, just west of Soldier and Prince Charles Drive, you're going to be seeing that slow-moving traffic up to about Old Trail. Marathon Road, heavy northbound traffic at this hour as well. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. You don't need a free afternoon to take care of your car insurance. You just need a few minutes. With NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers, you can get an instant car insurance quote, buy a new policy, or renew an existing one, pay your premium, or access your insurance documents all online. Discover everything a full-service online insurance portal can do at nuainsurance.com.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back-to-school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
When
Wendy's is spicing things up this summer with the new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger. A hot, juicy beef patty topped with spicy jalapenos, creamy ranch sauce, melted cheese, and fresh toppings for the perfect balance of cool and spicy. Every bite brings bold flavor that keeps you coming back for more. Turn up the flavor with the new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger at Wendy's today. Available for a limited time only.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Here's the show-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah. We also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Hey, did you ever sort out the car insurance?
I thought you did.
No, I sent it to you.
You sent me the reminder.
Okay, hold on. Okay, done.
Done?
Yeah, renewed, paid.
NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents, all fully online. With NUA, you have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
I just sat down with a plate of chicken, peas, and rice. Reached for the TV, grabbed the remote. All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party. The neighbors all came outside to chat. Some blamed the weather, imagine that. The children crying no Wi-Fi today. Grandma wondering if the bill was paid. Mosquitoes goes smiling from ear to ear, saying, the buffet is open here, courtesy of PPL. Oh, they've got us living by candlelight. You charge your phone to 103, 5 minutes later, you're back to fanning yourself with yesterday's memories. Oh, when the lights came back, we all started cheer like we just won the lottery. The TV blinks, the fan starts to spin. We shout, thank God we're back on again. But don't get comfy, don't settle in your seat, because you never know when it will repeat. Crying won't help, just smile. So raise your candles with me, wave them high with glee. Damn, the light's gone again, courtesy of BPL.
It's funny because it's true.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause it's true.
It's hilarious. But like
sad.
you say, it is true.
Wow. Again, it's circulating. I don't know who did it. I don't know who it is. It's AI though. It's AI, and this is another show, another story. But be concerned because you could just put in a few prompts and come up with a humdinger that sticks into your head all day.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what this world's going to look like in 20 years, but it's going to be scary.
Yeah. But you know what? This is going to be so far out. Like, I have a lot of empathy and compassion toward the workers and the people who have been put in place.
You sound like Christine Alston, the chair right
yeah,
now.
I do feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. Yes, because you have a job and you can't do it because your system failing.
Okay.
So, and there's nothing you could do but come out and show face and have the public attack you over and over and over again because the system itself
Can
is
we feel
broken.
sorry for them another day? Like
I feel sorry for them, and I feel sorry for us, like who are suffering. I mean, but at the end of the day, what could they do? Like, what could they do? Like the grid, the actual system itself needs support and help. You can't do anything about it, but come out here and give apologies and apologies and apologies, knowing later today, chances are you're going to be under fire again because something else happens. Can you imagine going to work every single day with that as your backdrop? That every single day there's nothing that you can do to make a difference? That's depressing.
Or you just become immune to it. And I think that is a lot of people in this country. The problem like this all over, right? PMH.
But that's another problem. Because when you get immune to it.
So many places.
What does it mean? That means that nothing is changing. You get immune to it because you have no control. That leads to mental health issues. Can you imagine that type of culture that you go to work every single day and you're tasked with responsibilities and have goals to achieve, but you can't control the things that are going to help you achieve them, so you just tap out?
I feel like most of the country. No?
Well, I guess that's why we're in a crazy state.
Yeah.
That's why people tripping out. That's why.
Almost everywhere you work.
It's sad.
Everywhere. It's just, Okay, well, I guess feel empathy for all Bahamians today.
Yeah, I do.
Especially this
most
year.
of them, except the people that know how bad the grid is and have not done anything about it for the last 30 years.
Well, that's a lot
I
of
hope
people
your
too.
generators break down. I hope your solar power
Wow.
doesn't work so
Hey.
that you can feel
rough.
what we're
That's rough.
feeling consistently and
rough.
that your pockets dry up so you can repair it quickly. And then you feel what we're
What's
feeling.
happening?
And
Oh,
then
my
maybe
goodness.
if you feel it,
Are you okay? That's rough. That was harsh.
but we need harsh. Because if you're not experiencing what your citizenship is experiencing, you are so removed from what's happening, then there's no urgency to repair it.
My goodness. Okay. All right. Well, she's the one who's saying she's feeling empathy for people, and then she comes back.
Except
and puts
them.
this
Except them.
Hex on the others.
Except them. Could you imagine you sweating in your house, Dwight, trying to open the door and the windows and no wind blowing, and the people that could make a difference crease up with their solar and generator, and they cool and they living and having a good time?
They didn't even know the power was off.
Point in case.
Didn't even know there was an island-wide blackout. Yeah.
They need to suffer. Wow. Maybe the AI person could create a song about that.
Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Tweet us. Facebook us. Text us. 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Good morning, sir. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
That's good. I mean, my power's being restored now, and who's going to pay for these damages done to your appliance and what have you now? You know, that's what the main things happen. You know, things will happen. And there's not much you can do, but the things will happen. But who's going to compensate us for our damage, our microwave, our fridge, and what have you?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Try it. I mean, BPL has a process. It's lengthy and detailed. But good luck. Good luck. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Morning. How you all doing this morning?
Try to make it.
I think you people in Nassau should be very concerned today because the news report that you're expecting extreme heat, so be prepared for more explosion of transformers.
Well, we always are. Mm-hmm.
But you know, I the reason why I say this is just a PR stunt, and all the statements are just a PR stunt, because BPL officials, including the government, is still pushing this narrative that they inherited a failing agent system. Transformers is something that lasts for decades and decades and decades. Those engines, they last for decades. The problem is lack of maintenance, lack of preventative maintenance. These people let them run until they break, and when they break, they want to blame it on the previous administration, they want to blame it on the agent system. But where's the preventative maintenance? Where's the maintenance? Why don't you show us what you've been doing to maintain, to upkeep your system? Transformer is probably the second most expensive piece of equipment inside a power plant. We talk about millions and millions and millions of dollars for one of these transformers. And for government just to let them blow up and blame it on the heat? Well, how come the transformers in Grandma ain't blowing up? How come the transformers around the rest of the world in these heat places ain't blowing up? How come these strange things is only happening at BPL?
Say strange.
So, you know, this is just a PR stunt trying to pass the buck. And the buck need to be laid at the feet, at the people in BPL, at the present administration, because they are not doing what they ought to do to maintain the system and to keep the system up. I'll hang up and continue to listen.
All right, thank you. Now, I don't know if it's fair to say the Transformers don't blow up in other places, right? But you do have to agree that the frequency with which Transformers blew this week here or last week here was very, 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 very odd and disturbing. I might have told this story, but every time I say these things, I'm not going to tell that story. But I'm familiar with a Transformer that used to blow like clockwork every year around the same time. That's all I can say about it before it happens
you could
again.
track that every year it happens. Is anyone else tracking that to say, let's check this out before this particular day?
And we would ask the BPL folks who'd come, and they're like, we keep telling them at the head office that they need to do this and blah, 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 because they kept, like you were saying, telling people what's wrong, but no one's listening, and,
Right.
And so you'd hear that type of story over and over again.
Yeah, wow.
So I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was a lot last week.
With the caller's point about inheritance, right? That infuriated me to hear last week because, like, what you mean you inherit this? That's that part I don't understand. So one government governed for all of these years, and then another government took over. So it would be fair to say that that government inherited some things when they first came into power, right? So this isn't something that happened just under the government, the FNM, right? So I don't confuse my own self, right? This isn't something that only cultivated under them. This started from way back when. And this passing of the buck is annoying. It's like people not taking accountability and responsibility. Like you fall down and you can blame your shoes for falling down when you weren't looking where you're going and you trip over something. Like we have an issue.
Or you put on shoes that were way too big.
And we have an issue taking personal responsibility. We want to blame everybody else.
But here's the thing. So it's up to us now to stop paying attention to the psychopaths who are saying those things, right? So let them say it, but you don't have to pay any attention to it. Just ignore it and like you're being a clown again, and just move on from it.
It's crazy,
right? Because we all know they all played a role to get us to where we are today.
Yeah,
they all did. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and call us toll free, tweet us, Facebook us, text us. Okay, we've got a lot of your text messages here. Yeah, people, again, we'd love to know who was behind. I have some suspicions as to
the song.
Who's behind it. But it is AI.
Yeah.
And again, I'm telling you, be afraid. I know everyone's focused on the electricity, but be afraid of what people and some. I can't use the word I used off air because I'll offend a lot of people.
Well,
but some
AI
very people
itself.
with very little talent
Yeah.
are going to be able to come up with some amazing things thanks to AI.
Yeah.
And I think that bodes does not bode well for human civilization and the values that people are going to put on everything from education to
it changes. It changes everything.
You'll be able to drop out of high school, drop out of primary school, and just AI your way through life and be a success.
Yeah, it seems
that's
like
what we want.
That's the way the world is headed. That's how it seems.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how it seems.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, where can I find that song? All over the internet. This person said, make the sacrifice. Oh, I made the sacrifice to use funds to buy a new generator instead of a vacation on the weekend. So now no generator and no vacation. Back to square one.
Wow.
Well,
What did he say?
Made the sacrifice to use funds to buy a new generator instead of take a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
The generator started a fire on the weekend, and now no generator and vacation.
Oh, wow.
Back to square one.
Wow. I hope the generator was still under warranty. There was some warranty. Since it's new. Wow.
In response to what you said, this is why I left healthcare, Duquesa.
Wow.
LOL at how come these strange things only happen at BPL? They're saying the explosion party started happening after they made all these changes. In any organization, change needs to be managed in the context of what exists. If you don't know what exists, you will have no idea what your change will do. In this case, it's disastrous. As long as, oh boy, okay, can't read that. But you might be right, Texter. You might be right about that. This person says here, I'm so angry with our leaders, I could spit bullets. Whoa. They're so incompetent and lousy. The situation with BPL is intentional to rob its citizens. What?
Wow.
What happened to the $50 million that was borrowed last year to assist BPL? What happened to all the funds borrowed? With Dorian and the pandemic, we managed much better. So save the excuses and tell us the truth. We can handle it. Well, I don't know if you can handle it. Not sure. But again, there were certainly fewer businesses using power during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, right, that was a big difference. Big difference there. People were home, and you all don't use anywhere near what these businesses consume. So,
but
think
still,
about
that was more strain on the households because people were home during times that they would typically be to work. That may not be an equal balance, but I am certain that electricity supply usage increased during that for those who were at home. I'm sure of it.
Okay, still not a.
It's not equitable, right?
Not
but
still,
still,
it's
you
a
know,
drop in the bucket compared to all the resorts and the
Again,
companies.
we're talking incentivizing businesses. Then, if you like, if BPL is saying reduce your usage, then what about some incentives for these businesses to allow their employees to work remotely, and you're subsidizing some of what they're doing so that they can make those decisions, because the business shouldn't have to absorb all of these costs to help BPL have less strain on the grid. So there need to be some subsidies that could be issued to certain businesses to help them do what you're asking to be done.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to read this story so you can get an idea of what, ahead of the press conferences slated for later this morning, what BPL was saying yesterday about what's causing these problems. So under the headline, Failure at Windsor Field Substation Led to Weekend Outages. Artanika Thompson writes that a failure at the Windsor Field substation feeder over the weekend led to multiple and sustained power outages in communities in western and southern New Providence, southwestern New Providence, according to BPL CEO Tony Pratt. The outages plunged residents of thousands of residents into darkness and lasted for days. BPL was also forced to enact load shedding, not to overload the only feeder in service at Windsor Field.
Wow.
So Pratt said, referring to the island-wide power outage that hit New Providence on Thursday, quote, subsequent to the island-wide blackout and unrelated, there was a failure on the Windsor Field feeder coming out of Clifton Pier. So that affected residents in the Coral Harbor area, LPIA, Westridge, Carmichael Road West, Venetian, Sea Beach, and all the surrounding areas that are fed from the Windsor Field substation. We were able to get one of the feeders restored, but in an attempt to not overload the only feeder that was in service, there was a rotational power supply that was put together to bring relief to some customers within at a time. So we were able to get the second Windsor Field feeder back in service yesterday, which is Sunday, late yesterday. So the majority of the customers came online. But then a subsequent fault occurred at areas in Coral Harbor, Bosun Hill, and Via Della Rosa. So those issues are being addressed separately. That's a separate issue. So there's a lot of different issues. Again, separate from the island-wide blackout, which was Blue Hills, and then Windsor Field and Clifton. Oh, boy. It's all like what? When it rains, it pours? Residents in western and southern New Providence were not the only ones facing outages, though. Multiple communities on New Providence were also hit with outages over the weekend, including Kemp Road, Faith Avenue, Cowpen Road, Sea Breeze, Blue Hill Road, and others. BPL said those outages were the result of multiple issues.
Wow.
In addition, several islands also saw outages, including Andros and Abaco. Wow. So frustrated residents took to social media over the weekend to complain, with many saying that they sat in their cars to get relief from the heat.
Wow. Wow. Well, if that doesn't indicate a crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend message about their area being off somewhere on East Bay Street for 3 days, and the BPL wasn't aware.
Yeah.
So you have to call in.
So this is, Wes and I were talking about this off air. Some people really are taking it for granted that BPL knows about some of these outages, and that you have to actively participate in this. You need to find out how widespread an outage is. If it's just you, is it your neighbors? Is it just your street? You need to call. You do need to call the hotline. I know it's frustrating because they don't answer on time and whatever. It depends. But sometimes they don't know. You are going to have to let them know.
That's serious.
You could be sitting in the dark for hours, if not days, if you don't let them know, especially with what's happening in the other parts of the island.
Wow.
So anyway, there's more here. So Pratt, again, this is the CEO, apologizing to customers, saying, quote, the Prime Minister did ask us to look at some sort of rebate to customers impacted. So that is something that we will be discussing as well. Asked if BPL is able to meet the demand for power, Pratt said yes, saying, quote, the issue is that because of the excessive heat, And the extensive loading on the system, a lot of the cables are becoming overloaded or the joints are blowing. So we're going to just have to shut down the Bahamas in the summer months. We just have to all like temporarily migrate.
Even though like BPL was ready for the summer.
Not this type of summer, apparently. Maybe Vermont summer.
So we shouldn't have expected any of this based on the fact that BPL was ready.
Yeah.
So this just kind of sideswipe.
Okay. So from what, May till November, we all need to move somewhere and then come back?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay. She goes on to say, so it could either be overload conditions combined with the excessive heat conditions that are causing some of the cables to fail. It's just something that we have to address on a case-by-case basis.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Yikes. Pratt said, underground cable faults take a significantly longer time to locate and repair than overhead faults. Saying, quote, on an overhead line, you can do pole-by-pole inspections and kind of locate their fault rather quickly. So underground faults, there's testing that needs to be done. Cable fault location distance testing to find out exactly where the fault is. Then you need a backhoe to excavate, expose the cables, test the cables, repair the cables, and then backfill. So that is a significantly longer time to address than a typical overhead line fault.
Yeah, that makes logical sense.
Aye.
It does.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? What's the plan?
Can we freeze the place?
Do we
need an ice machine? Can we,
because contingency plans are designed to work when there is a failure. So if the contingency only has certain limitations, how do you now reinforce the contingency? Because certain things, the power is going to fail. Right? So, and just coming out and saying, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, is not enough. That's not a plan. So what are we going to do?
Excessive heat concerns me, though. I mean, this is the Bahamas.
It does. And think about the elder, and then that's another thing, Dwight.
But I'm just saying, terrible excuse.
I agree with you.
But
that should be more reason why you don't want it to fail. Because of the excessive heat.
You're doing something wrong, though. I mean, so is there no way that you can bolster these things up, add something that can take heat better?
Exactly what I'm saying, being more proactive, right? Being more proactive. So you have the excessive heat. Then when the power goes out, like I told you the other day, I saw this elderly woman sitting outside in a chair trying to be cool. So where are the plans to help the young and the elderly stay cool? Where is an air conditioned station that people can go to? Where are the little, what you call those, running pads where children could run through the water and stay cool or whatever? Like, what are you doing? The power is failing. So where is this location that you have where people who are vulnerable can go to ensure that they don't have heat stroke or whatever else could happen because of this extreme heat?
Well, you're on your own with that one.
But I shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but my gosh. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Good morning. You're live.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Good morning.
When it comes to the power transmission in this country, right? We have a transmission system like a particular kind of nation that Trump likes to talk about. You understand me? We have a transportation system that need tunnels, right? We need, walking tunnels, driving tunnels, them type of thing, in our main thoroughfares. The transmission needs to be underground, not in some, no dirt. You understand me? Like some distribution line. You see, we need proper transmission lines, tunnel transmission lines. It need to be air conditioning and all that type of thing. You see, we need to develop this nation and stop trying to just privatize everything. And how does a private company be able to have more money than the government?
What?
You understand me? Do whatever necessary for us to have. It's impossible.
Why would you say that? What are you talking about? Huh? Okay. Sir. Anyway. Just... Okay, let's get back to text messages. I treat the BPL grid like the rotting, bloated, dead animal in the middle of the road.
gee.
I avoid it. Whoa. The sun is my power generator, and I'm yet to receive a bill. Empower yourselves, Bahamas. Get solar in your roof and battery storage.
I mean, I say that too, Dwight, but let's just be realistic.
Which part do you say?
That we have to be our own rescue.
Oh, not the bloated animal in the
No.
middle of the road thing. Okay.
No,
Mhm.
but you kind of have to be your own rescue. But at the same time, not everybody could afford to do that. Not everyone is in a position to say, let me put in solar or let me get a generator. What's supposed to happen? What's supposed to happen? We've been reading about people throwing away freezers of food because they've been out of power for so long. Like, that's a huge loss. The cost of food is already high, and you have to throw it away?
Wow. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
How
good
are
morning.
you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good. Dwight and Duquesne. I think
Hi.
it's Duquesne, right?
Yes, it is.
That's you or EI?
DU. DUQ.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight, I think BPL is not a problem,
Oh, yeah?
What's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was Emancipation Day. And Emancipation Day is a day for black people who were free. And I'm close to 70, right? And I never heard of an Emancipation Day for white people. But
I mean, it's for everybody who opposed the idea of that type of slavery. So everybody. So there are lots of people of all races who were opposed to it. So it's not. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but do you know of anyone who celebrates Emancipation Day for white people?
Are we getting back to BPL or what do we?
Yeah, no. Take your time to BPL. See, BPL is only a process of the same people who we educated from preschool into a certain ideology, and now we see that they can't see no further than we see, even as emancipated. Why do you believe you emancipated? Have a good day.
Okay, so is he saying it's Emancipation Day is a joke? We're still enslaved by other things, not
Yeah,
just.
we certainly are.
Okay, well, no, that's just
Certain things.
I'm sure that we'll always be that way.
Yeah, always.
Sadly. But thank you for that. Okay, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning to your guests. Good morning, Bahamas. Dwight, we all love the Bahamas. We're a rich country, beautiful country, but bad management for the past 40 plus years. Feeling did the best he could. Papa did some good things. To me, I believe all prime ministers do some good things. Dwight, let me ask you on the guest question. What is our plan? What is our plan? You see, because all sensible countries to me, we can't learn from China. China say, but this, that, to bring up a bridge here, bring up this, bring up that. Dwight, bring up medicine in the hospitals and the clinics. The governor, everybody. Sensible countries are like that. The morale of the people are low. Everybody in this country mad. Or kill one another. Why? How do you get it this way? In the 60s and 70s, 80s, people love one another. Take care of one another. We need to come together and put this country. We need the smart, loyal Christian people come and start speaking. We need to pivot with the Prime Minister. Please pivot, man. Who can't do the job? Fire the people. If you don't have the fun people no more, you need to get some people out of the way who can't do the job. Tell them say we can't patient cut some bait. So that's all I can say. Thank my call.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Texter says here, who also has been enduring power outages all weekend. That previous caller sounds like he needs to get some sleep. Must be also from Coral Harbor. It's been rough. People talking out their head now because of the the heat of the outages. It's terrible.
Oh,
It's
wow.
very sad.
It is.
This texture says that BPL has more stories than a public library. The cat tripped the wire. The dog tripped the wire. Just fix the problem. Enough excuses. They've pulled out everyone out of the book. I've heard it all now.
And they keep talking about a plan, but never detailing said plan enough for you to see where, you know.
Really heard it all. Explosions, fires,
everything,
transformers,
everything.
Was flooding an issue? No,
No,
not yet.
not
We haven't heard
flooding.
that yet.
No,
Whoa. This texture says, lies. There was no 4-hour rotation in Sea Beach. We had no rotation, just off.
Wow.
Appliances lost. Refrigerator, freezer, toaster.
Wow.
Get the experts in and rehire those experienced engineers you spitefully fired.
Oh, wow.
This texture says here, what's this talk about plans? We voted for progress. This texture says here, I went to Las Vegas last summer. The temperature was 115 Fahrenheit. The power never went off.
Okay.
I need to read that one again. I went to Las Vegas last summer. Temperature was 115 Fahrenheit. The power never went off. Good morning, and we got our extreme heat and government response from the advanced general election polls. We're now reaping what we sowed. What? What? Can they stop talking about excessive heat? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was no excessive heat in March when the power went out on a daily basis out west. Whoa. And with all this talk about modern grid, AI, and smart meters, are they trying to tell me that the system can't detect if there's a cluster of meters that haven't moved in an hour or more? Now, that's interesting. Duquesne was asked earlier as well, right?
What system is in
but
place?
who's monitoring that, though?
But is system in place to let you know that there are
Maybe an alarm
outages,
could go off or
something.
But something is.
But you're relying on us to call in to tell you your system is down.
And don't want to answer the call.
It's crazy.
And giving you attitude
Right.
on the call.
It's crazy.
Just like a caller said earlier, BPL has repeatedly put the country in darkness, so Bahamians should shut down the country by not going to work or protest in the thousands. Do this and anticipate that next year's summer won't be like this. Okay. I got a text, a tweet that said something similar like that. Dwight, you shut down that caller too quickly. While he may not have been the most eloquent, his idea and principle of withdrawing labor and shutting down the economy has worked. There are many examples of this worldwide. I think it's worth revisiting.
But are we, right, as a people, prepared to do that? That's the question that needs to be answered.
You won't be paid.
Do
and
we
you're
want
likely
to
going to be home
inconvenienced?
in a place where the power is off.
Right.
So you're only going to be hurting yourself. But there are better ways to protest. I think. But I hear you. Well, hey, organize it. Let's see what happens. I think they'd like it. They're really going to like it because, see, this is my alarm company right now calling about a low battery. That's every day.
Wow.
Because of the electricity.
Wow, that's insane. I think the biggest question is are we really tired? Are we done talking? And are we, because if the people are the power of the country and all we do is talk, we have already let people know that all we're going to do is talk. And then November, when it gets cooler and there are less power outages, we're going to go silent again. And we're going to start preparing for Christmas and get into this spirit and forget about power woes until March or April again. And we have to do more.
Wow.
We have to do more.
Wow. A couple messages to get ready to go to the break. This person says, how long have we been dealing with BPL woes? It's clear they do not have a plan. Do we seriously expect these problems to be solved in the next 10 years? So we, the residents, need to plan our own energy independence. Bahamians can afford to do that. Well, some can. But and some will need to work together.
Yeah.
Didn't BPL build a solar plant somewhere? What's going on? Yeah, they're working on that. They're working on a solar farm, I think it is, and they are working on the LNG plant. But these are medium term, hopefully solutions. But as a texter rightfully pointed out, even one of the folks with the LNG plant is saying that it is just going to supplement, and if the grid is still challenged, there are going to be problems.
Yeah.
There are going to be problems.
You know?
Yeah, the section says, God forbid we have a hurricane. Yeah, God forbid indeed. God forbid indeed. Okay. You're going to squeeze that in really quickly? Caller, really quickly. Good morning. You're live on the air. Okay, I guess not. Let's go to the news. We'll play our song again. Well, not our song. The song. The courtesy of BPL song that we love so much. When you get depressed about the power being off, think about this or play this.
Play it.
And it might bring a smile to your face while you sweat. We'll be back. Stay with us.
All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL.
It may be hot outside, but you can stay cool knowing B.O.B. is backing your summer plans. That's because summer starts with Bank of the Bahamas.
Whether you're paying school fees, planning home improvements, or taking a much-needed vacation, B.O.B. offers the lowest consumer loan rate in the country, and we will beat any rate offered by 1%.
So don't sweat the small stuff. Let B.O.B. help you take care of business so you can get to summer fun. Apply for your B.O.B. summer loan today.
B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom computers. You have and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with custom computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
So many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and More, John Bull, Pine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's, Clarkson, Island Luck, Starbucks, and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4, get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back-to-school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back-to-school special. Restrictions apply.
Tell them.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas. Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesta Dean, and we're in August and summer mode, and a lot of people are not working for the next couple of weeks. And so, hey, we're going to, talk about some other issues over these next few days, including this one, just in time for Emancipation Day. Some of the, you drove to work today and you probably were on some streets. Have you ever wondered why this street is called this, or why this area is named this? What's behind these names here? And we're going to put it to historian Christopher Davis, who is here, is going to talk about it. Good to see you again.
Thank you, brother.
Hope you enjoyed Emancipation Day.
Yeah, I did. I had light last night. So
well, look at that. That's a blessing.
I cherish that sleep and that AC.
My gosh.
I've been sweating for 5 days straight.
Oh, no.
It's been rough. It's been rough.
As the nation, right?
Yeah. It's been something else. Yeah. All right. So, we don't think about a lot of these things.
Right.
It's just like you've just known it all your life and never wondered. Like I was thinking, Shirley Street.
Yeah.
What is Shirley Street? Who is Shirley? Who is this? Yeah. And so many others, and settlement names, surnames, so many things that we have taken for granted. We don't know the origin, the meaning behind it. Right. So that's what we wanted to do today. So which ones? You want to start with Shirley Street? Which ones stand out to us?
Yeah, Shirley Street was named after the governor. He was the one that actually kind of did the street. It appears that street sort of existed, for quite some time, and that Shirley Street is named after Governor Shirley, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the governor around the 1750s or 60s. And you would find that many of our stuff are named after these British colonial governors, who, of course, we are pretty much taught to worship, and these fellas were not fellas to be praised in any sense. Of course, we have Woodes Rogers Wharf. That's another one. And Woodes Rogers was a pretty prolific slave trader. And even his time as a privateer, him and his family, particularly coming out of Bristol, they were one of the major slave trading families coming out of Bristol. And they were privateer, but don't tell you about how, for example, he would sack the ships of the enemies of the British, and then re-kidnap those Africans or recapture those Africans and sell them, and take up all the profits. And he was highly corrupt too. Like he wouldn't even So you see, like that's just cruel on on every level. And in particular, he was very prolific in transporting Africans from East Africa, working for the East Indian Company as well. And as a matter of fact, his son continued in that vein, William Whetstone Rogers. And I can tell you, most of the Rogerses of African descent were most likely at some point enslaved by the Rogers family as well. Coming forward to Governor Fenny, we don't have anything named after him. But, he was another one, big slave trader. He was the one that actually brought in those Ahanta warriors on the Bahama Galley. Right, and following that was Woodes Rogers' son during Woodes Rogers' second term that brought in the slave ship, the Nassau, both coming from southwest Ghana.
Wow.
Another one is Tinker, very prevalent name in the Bahamas. The Governor Tinker at the time, John Tinker, is another one who was praised in our history books as the longest serving governor in Bahamian history. Plenty lotion it. He was the common vernacular. But before he was in the Bahamas, he served as the governor of Cape Coast in Ghana. And if you know anything about Cape Coast, this is one of the oldest and largest slave trading factories built. Initially, I believe, was it the British or the Dutch? One of them two.
You said slave trading factory?
Yeah, slave trading factory. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and based in my book, The Black Rinse, I sort of went in on John Tinker in chapter 3, probably the most controversial one, the Bukra and the Conky joke. Bukra being a term that was a part of the Gullah Geechee lexicon, that, of course, is now sort of faded out of our language in the Bahamas, but it's still quite common in countries like Dominica, St. Vincent. They say Bakraman, which pretty much means white man, essentially, but it's usually used within the context of a white man who is either racist or oppressive or something of that nature, right? And so John Tinker is celebrated. And as I was saying in that chapter in my book, I calculated that more than 20, he was the governor with tens of thousands of Africans passing through. And then we celebrate this guy. He was also the governor that executed in about 1755. We had an act of resistance, which I believe occurred in Grand Bahama. So shout out to the Grand Bahamians. And they had them cutting down timber and all of these things. And one of those...
What year you said it was?
Around 1755.
Okay.
The year is actually not specified. But this was documented in Henry Bruce, the one that built Fort Montague. This was documented in his memoirs. And one of the enslaved Africans they were cutting down trees at this time. That was one of the common jobs. And of course, they had a mini uprising, and he got his gun and he shot at the overseer on the plantation, trying to kill him, but he ended up shooting him like in the shoulder. And then Governor Tinker was like, man, you know this boy dead. And he's like, and then he had a very close friend. He might even been a relative, because, you know, sometimes you would have your sister or your brother, blood brother, on the slave ship with you coming over, right?
Wow.
So it might have been a situation like that. But essentially, Tinker was like, yeah, we executing you, or this here boy, well, we can execute the two of y'all. And he pretty much executed the other guy for nothing, essentially, other than to terrorize the other Africans who were enslaved in the Bahamas, right? And so streets like Shirley Street, you could even look at like Gladstone Road, which I do believe was named after one of those former prime ministers of England. But the Gladstone family themselves, exactly. What? He probably visited, you know.
Oh my,
yeah, he probably
okay.
visited somewhere. And but the Gladstone family was also heavily involved in the slave trade as well. Of course, this is the root of their wealth. And as a matter of fact, the great grandfather of the same Gladstone, who Gladstone Road is named after, did actually sponsor a slave transatlantic voyage to the Bahamas. So you see the cruel irony in that. And there's this weird thing.
So
Go ahead.
I want to go back to what a slave trading factory would be like.
So
what is that?
Yeah, these are the terms that even the Europeans use. It shows you the diminished view that they had of Africans as less than human. You know, these people were seen as property, and it was just essentially a revolving door.
So
of
are they
Africans.
preparing
Like a clothes factory or something?
Preparing you
like
for
just-
shipment?
Right, yeah. And trust me, and it was meant to break your spirits. Your spirit was typically already broken even before you got on the ship. Elmina Castle, so Cape Coast and Elmina Castle, you could walk to the both of them, you know. One was the British enclave, one was originally built by the Portuguese, and then, but for most of its history, it was Dutch. In Elmina, to this day, they used to have 5 of them, but now there's only 1 or 2 left. And there's this very, very heavy, like, cannonball and a stone with a hole in a chain. And this was what they tied women to. And I don't mean to get too deep and harsh, but you know, we have to really face these realities. And for women, it was always 5 times worse, if we're being honest. It got to the point where things were so horrible in some of these dungeons, and they would typically like have a hatch where they'd drop the food through. And you had these women who would essentially, the survival was so extreme. I trying to find the words to put it in, you know. But it was so extreme that women would try to offer themselves and seduce these white men, of course, that ran the slave castles and the slave factories. They want you to think Africans is the one who enslaved themselves, which is another ridiculous notion that we could get into maybe as a whole another show, right? But essentially, though, these women were so desperate to get out of these dungeons because they were so, you know, just horrible, you know. I don't have to get into the details, but human excrement, vomiting, cholera, all of these diseases in there. And it got to the point where women were literally hoping that one of these white men would take them out of there to rape them or to have relations with them. And even more so, some of them hoped that they would become impregnated. And then after that, you hope your child come out nice and light skinned. And then that way you would be removed from the dungeon to take care of this quote unquote mulatto child that was there, you know. And Keith, I keep saying Keith, sorry. He was my former boss, so that's why. John Tinker, so sorry, not Keith, may he rest in peace. John Tinker, the governor, was one of the people who were overseeing these practices in that region at the time.
Okay. All right. So other names that stick out to you that people would be interested in knowing the origin.
Rawson. Rawson Square. We don't even question these things. And then we get, I know we on radio, I have a nickname for Victoria, but it got a curse word in it, so I can't use it here. But that's like 18th, 19th century Photoshop, that statue they have there. Because in real life, this woman was about 300 pounds and hard wooden teeth, because she used to put 18 sugars in her tea. You understand what I'm saying? And then we have this horrible myth. I was literally on an emancipation tour. I'm not going to call the place, but one of the tour guides at the place was like pretty much implying that Queen Victoria played this huge role in freeing the enslaved, which is a complete and utter myth. She wasn't even coronated when the act was passed. So I don't know how you could get credit for something before you even come into power, you know? But Rawson was another one of these brutal colonial
That's
officials.
the actual name.
Yeah, Rawson W. Rawson was his name, right?
Spelled the same way and everything.
Yeah, Rawson, right? And he...
Rawson.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he spent time in his early political career in South Africa and played a crucial role in establishing corporations like the Rio Tinto Company. And so he is one of the reasons why Africa has continued to be exploited of their natural resources, particularly diamonds and precious stones in this case. Committed genocides against the Zulu and the Xhosa people. And he is involved in 2 genocides, actually, because after that, he went to Canada. And you see that there's a lot of information now coming out about the quote-unquote Indian schools that existed in Canada in the 19th century. You know, Canada does have this very sort of progressive sort of reputation that they did very well in sort of sweeping under the rug. But when you look at the way they treated the indigenous populations, where several entire groups went completely extinct, like the Neothuk, for example. And Rawson was actually the guy that wrote the policy of kidnapping indigenous American children, making their languages illegal, putting them into European schools to fully indoctrinate them, stealing them from their parents. And then later on in his career, the British Empire decided to reward him by giving him the governor post right here in the Bahamas. And then they built up the buildings nice. They based our parliament actually after a place called Trion's Palace, which is in New Bern. And ironically, in New Bern, this is one of the strong, or was, I should say, in North Carolina. So there's a lot of cultural connection, historical connection there. But they just built it while he was the governor, and they name it after him, you know. Again, lotioning loyalists, lotioning British officials. And this is a part when at the same time, there were those, of course, that died in the name of our freedom. And I putting this out there again. This is an idea, I don't care if no one teeth, because it just needed to happen. We need to change this Rawson thing. He doesn't even have any significance. You could argue for Woodes Rogers, even though he's also a horrible person. But at least Woodes Rogers had great significance. You know, we became a British colony officially under his rule. He served twice. He had this very sort of complex and rich life behind him. You know, that whole Jacques Rousseau story is based on some of the stories that was evolved surrounding his real life. You know, he's marooned on an island, but Rawson is very much unimpressive. Don't mean nothing, just committing genocide around the place. So I say we move the statue of that woman, Queen Victoria, probably put her somewhere down in Collins House, and then properly contextualize her, put her right next to Columbus, and put Woodes Rogers there too, and properly contextualize them, right? You move her statue, and who you think we should put there? John Canoe. Because we rush on Bay Street, Rawson Square, or John Canoe Square.
Yeah.
John Canoe Square is where we do our thing during the John Canoe Parade. So move the statue
and rename the square.
Put the great warrior John Canoe there and name it after him.
I was actually going to ask you about, so all of this is history, right? So these places are named after these people as a connection to our history. And so I was going to ask you, if we rename them, how do we not lose, even though those are negative parts of our history, how do we not lose the education that comes with that? But I kind of like the idea of having somewhat of a museum of, like how you say, move the statue here, right? Having sort of like a museum, a historical museum that you can place all of these. Yeah. And so our surnames, like you talked about Gladstone and you know, Tinker and the names. did our surnames come from the slave owners?
Yeah.
So when we were bought back then, we were known as Strachan slave, and
Yep.
so we became Strachan. So how do we find out what our true name is?
So that is a very difficult thing to do, right? Of course, you have people like Anku Sarah, Cleveland Unius III, the grandson of Cleveland Unius I, who documented through his great-grandfather them coming from the Ogun State province in present-day southwest Nigeria, Yoruba people, right? And I believe their surnames was originally Balogun, which is a pretty common royal surname from those groups in Ogun State, right? Ogun is also the name of one of the African deities in Orishas, the one that's credited for the Haitian Revolution, but we ain't get into that today. But to answer your question, Ms. Dean, it's actually quite impossible in most cases. It's very difficult. DNA might make it there. So, and by the way, we've been doing a lot of DNA projects that I've been involved in. And a lot of it has sort of followed the path of my research. We recently did some in the Ahanta region. And I can't say too much about it now, but some very interesting things are popping up. So if you, Ms. Dean, you do a DNA test and you find out that you look a little Fulani to me, so let me put that on you. The Fulani, now they the set with the, Fulani braids and the cornrow. A lot of that comes from their culture. The word juk comes from their language and stuff like that, right?
Oh, wow.
And so if you were to do a DNA test and you found out that, hey, you are 18th cousin from the paternal line to this random person in the Fulani group, and their surname is Ture, then you could probably say, hey, well, Ture, but then you got to look at, well, if there was matrilineal, it would be through the mother side, right? And then that would be a name. So it's actually quite complex, but I also do not have a problem with people of African descent sort of tapping into any group. And listen, the same way the slave master give you your name, why you could choose your own name, And so you have the great scholar, and this ties into what we're talking about today, Stokely, formerly known, now known as Kwame Ture. They used to call him crazy, and all type of things in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Now everything the man was saying about the politics in the Middle East is now coming to fruition. Profit all of a sudden, right? Yeah, and Trinidad vibration. Trinidad was the first nation to actually make Emancipation Day a holiday. And a part of that, they changed the name of Oxford Street because some of them are not names. They're just tied to places in England, right? That we, again, just lotion it. And they changed Oxford Street to Kwame Ture Street. And this is a huge thing, So, and not every street needed to change. Bay Street makes sense. The Bay, get on the water. We get the best water in the world.
Right.
Of course, Bay Street, you say, Marlow Butler Highway, that's staying there all day. Tony Williams, Darling Highway, all day. You understand?
What about Carmichael? What's the history of Carmichael?
Now, Carmichael is the the one colonial official I will give a slight pass to.
Okay, tell us about that.
Because of his role, right? Now, J.S. Carmichael Smith was no abolitionist. That's a misnomer. But he was very progressive. It's important to note that after his tenure here in the Bahamas, he was then sent to Guyana to quell all of the revolts that were happening among Africans and indigenous people in Guyana, right? So that you got to put that in your pipe and smoke it, as the old people say. But at the same time, you have issues like the case of Kate Moss, actually, that he was the one that really popularized it and made it known. But again, he was it's the Whigs and the Tories, but it was politics behind it too. So let's use a parallel PLP, F&M. And you find that if Carmichael was a PLP, all these people he was attacking and all these people he was trying to expose for abusing enslaved people, yes, thank you for doing that, but they were also his political opponents. You understand? So there was
nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Not new under the sun, as they say, right? But at the same time, he did certainly help a lot of people of African descent. The Pompey revolt actually revealed some of his true colors. He claimed there was this claim that he didn't know that the 44 people in the Pompey revolt were being locked up and pregnant women were being whipped. This happened in the public library, by the way. And then, now, mind you, he living in government house. Nassau is Nassau. You mean to tell me the governor did not know that they had attempted that 44 enslaved people still right there, you know? It was only after it was revealed that these pregnant women and women who were nursing children, people like Grace Roll, Suke Roll, they called some of the names of these women. By the way, my great-grandmother was Grace Roll from Roll Town. And I doing research to see that Pompey's sons, both of them, Castletown and Caesar, migrated to Kid Island soon after as well. But back to the point, you know, Carmichael was a more complex character. And then, of course, the village, Carmichael Village, which was formerly known as headquarters. You see, this is another thing. So when we name, so like when using Bain and Grantstown, to Lancey Town, Gambia, Fox Hill, all of these communities existed before they named it after a governor or a slave trader. You understand what I'm saying? And that was the same case with Carmichael. Africans were already running from into the interior of the island of New Providence. They had a place called Lookout Farm, which is actually right around the area where Fusion Superplex is right now. And Lookout Farm was to look out. And for
Pretty
Africans and runaways, who was going along where Carmichael Road is right now, and of course Gladstone Road right there too. You know, so I would rename Gladstone Road after one of these Africans who would have been around there. We have a lot of documentation and runaways and stuff like that. I often hear people also say things like, "Oh, well, they know who that is. Why you can name it after them?" I say, "So you know who Rawson is, right? You know, you know." So
wait, so headquarters. Why was it called that?
I don't know specifically, but I think it was just an African thing. It was some nickname. There was some military action going on. They would send in West India Regiment officers to go and search for these people, and then some of them would never come back. Some of them must see find a nice little girl in the back, or a nice woman, I should say, sorry, and get married. And next thing you know, they'll do that to us. You know, but so yeah, but it was essentially an area, and you know, it's so ironic. I hate to bring this up again, but you know, when we look at the places where our, let's call them unwanted migrants populations are, they are in the same places where the British colonial put the undesirable African-born people. So you look what it was. You see, they plenty of them in Adelaide. When you look at the school in Adelaide, you know, people talk about, oh, the Haitians taking them, mostly Haitians. No. The only class I've ever seen where it was mostly Haitian students over Bahamians was one primary school class at Adelaide Primary. And you had to way over there. And then where did they live again? Mason Addition, Bain and Grantstown, Fox Hill. It's no coincidence that these quote-unquote undesirables are placed in the same place our British colonial masters, former masters, or still masters in some ways, put them.
So, Chris, I mean, like, we're talking about names, and I would dare say that there are a lot of people that give no thought to your surname. Like, you were born, and this is what your name is, and this is what your given surname is, or and people have affinity. Like, I have an affinity to my surname, which is why I don't hyphenate with my marriage name and all of that, because I have a love for that family name, right? So is it important for us to know what that name is attached to in this modern day?
The other side of the argument, right? So first of all, Dean is actually one of the oldest names in the Bahamans. We talking not even pre-loyalist, we talking pre-piracy.
Wow.
We talking about this late 1600s Aleutian adventurer time, right? So Dean is one of the oldest names in the Bahamas. Some spell it with the E at the end, some spell it without the E at the end, yada, yada. But at the same time, the flip side of this, there are many angles to take it from. Of course, we all love our families. And these names, these surnames, are how we identify with our families, kinship. You know, when me and Dwight first met, I think one of the first discussions we had was, but Strachan, you the Kid Island Strachan, you the Rugby Strachan, and then we sort of got into that, you know what I mean? And of course, us as Bahamians, it is a part of our identity, but you must still acknowledge where these names originated. But it don't mean that you're not proud to be your family, but still within the context of knowing, hey, this is a slave name. And then again, you know, I am a very sort of free person. I believe in people doing what they want to do. Then the more revolutionary side to keeping your surname. What if you find out yeah, enslaver build one big mansion in England and they convert that to a hotel like the Rolls, actually, China Tower, for those who want to Google China Tower. Yeah, the Rolls, your Rolls, go to England, go to China Tower and say, hey, y'all need to guess this, eh? Right. Shout out to Dr. Niambi Gamble, the Reparations Committee, right? But again, you know, so that's another part of it, because severing that tie might cause that to sort of dwindle. And then, like I said, we love our families. Our families raised us. We don't want to dissociate with our family as well, you know. So it is a quite complex issue. But then you'd also have others who, like me, might have other names, Omo Shango from the Yoruba side. Of course, Nana John Kwao, my title in a Hunter, but I still, as Christopher there, you call me Chris, I can answer. You know, and people can have more than one name. It's possible, right? And so I would suggest, you know, you could keep your name, especially for historical purposes, for when that glorious day comes, when we start to say, hey, you see that little China Tower hotel y'all get right there? With Lord Royal wife built for him just to keep China in, which is why they call it the China Tower, which was certainly made off of the profits that were made from enslaving the Royals from the Carolinas time straight up to the Bahamas time. Wow. You understand? So again, it's a complex issue, and I think that people just need to do their own sort of soul searching, make their own decisions. Sometimes, you know, I use myself as an example, but let's say someone from a prominent family, let's use Folks, you know, let's use Folks, like Randall Folks, you know, and if you're a Folks, you know, and you have a giant of a man like Randall Folks, you probably wouldn't want to dissociate yourself from them, not just out of pride, but out of ease of navigating the society. You know, that name hold clout. If here's Randall Folks' daughter or granddaughter, and you come in certain circles on any side of the political spectrum, people can let you through the door. You know what I mean? And not in a negative way. So, you know, again, it's a complex thing. It's the choice. I would just say it's the choice of the people. And for those who want to be more Afrocentric, certainly, you know, go adopt this name, do what you want to do, trace your roots. And if you choose to keep your quote unquote slave name, you know, you can do that as well. And it's key to note too, even the so-called liberated Africans adopted the surnames of their quote unquote indentured masters, right? So the Aeneas being one. Britain Aeneas, the ancestor of Anku and those others, he was essentially working side by side with the enslaved. But luckily for him, it was like a boating situation where he was working side by side with enslaved people. But if we know the man last name was Balogun, why did it become Aeneas? Right. Wow. You understand? And then you have this thing where you were encouraged not to keep your surname. Especially a name like Balogun would get a whole African deity in the name, you understand? So if you still walking around and your last name is Turi, they identify you as an African, and that means you are a pariah in this society.
Sounds very familiar to what's happening today. Right? Every day in the newspaper, what we see.
You got to anglicize your name so you don't get discriminated against, you know?
My goodness. Yeah. My goodness. All right, so we just had Emancipation Day, you mentioned it, the historical slave villages, Gambia, Adelaide, Foxhill. Where do these names come from?
Foxhill come from former slave master Samuel Fox. Adelaide, he wasn't a governor, but he was like the relation to one of those governors. But no, Adelaide is like a place in England, and I think it's like a house. You know, they have like the House of Windsor, the house. So that's what Adelaide came from. Gambia was another former governor of the Bahamas.
So even those places where there was freedom, they all came from...
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my.
But interestingly with Gambia, but particularly with our dialect, you know, I sometimes take people and do private tours in those areas, talking about the Saltwater Underground Railroad. First of all, the people that, some of those that settled in Gambia, particularly the Morrises, the Spence, Dispatch, Fernandez that married into some of these families, they were the progenitors of the most successful slave revolt in the history of the United States. And interestingly, because of our dialect, when I was doing a tour one time, they thought I was saying Gambia, as in the West African country village. And I was like, no, unfortunately, it's Gambier. And they're like, what the hell is Gambier? And I was like, former governor. And they're like, what? And then it's all about, again, giving credit to these men. Same with Carmichael, though I do believe we could keep Carmichael Road. But if we want to change it to an African, listen, I'm more inclined to do that. You understand?
Amazing.
Yeah,
We're talking with historian Christopher Davis. All right, so what about other settlements in the country throughout the Family Islands? Any interesting stories there?
Boy, you're making me too many. So you get your Queen's Highways and your King's Highways. So we need to throw all that in the bin. You understand? Like one time, King's Highway, Queen's Highway. You get that long road in Kid Island. No, I hope they listening. Shout out to my people in Kid Island. I misregarded this a lot, but don't worry, y'all can see me soon. But change that name, man. We get two people who that road needs to be named after, and it's not Sidney Poitier, by the way. Though we do love and commemorate Sidney Poitier and his moves in the civil rights movement, but at the end of the day, he was an entertainer. We talking about Dick DeVoe, a man who lost his life in the most significant plantation revolt in the history of the Bahamas. Named that road after Dick DeVoe. That's my first choice. My second choice would be a man named James Carmichael Smith, whose father was John Smith. He was an Englishman who we believe Smith's Bay is actually named after. And his mother was Sarah Bailu. Bailu, a name that's not so common, but common that we can get on the Bailu one too, right? Now, James Carmichael Smith, no relation to the governor, but named after the governor. He pretty much became almost like the Marcus Garvey of England. He was the foremost Pan-Africanist writer, one of the first original Pan-Africanist writers in England, founded a newspaper called The Liberator, and of course was ran out of the Bahamas. One thing they like to do is it's so funny back then because I think everyone was probably sweethearting from then. But if they want to get rid of you, all they got to do is bring up your sweethearting business and kick you out. And that's how he was kicked out of the country for apparently disrespecting Stephen Dillett's granddaughter. And so they discriminated against the Dillett family for all these years. Then when it was time to get the Pan-African out of the country, all of a sudden, oh, you this sweet little girl. Yeah, we ain't like Haitians, but she's a sweet little girl. You do this girl bad, you need to get from around here. And then he went to England, and as they say, a prophet is never received in his own hometown. And when this man went to England, it just exploded. And the black community in England and globally, the whole British Empire, I would say, or former British Empire, depending on how you look at it, they had a gratitude to this James Carmichael Smith, the black one, no relation to the governor, who did this. Named the street after him. You get Inagua. I think Inagua is also like King's Highway or
I think almost all of them have Kings and Queens Highway.
And in Inagua, you have a man like Allen Glazier Mintz, first black mayor in British history. And that way we get to still lotion the British a little bit, but do it that is more empowering, in a way that's more empowering than us. I know that's kind of oxymoronical.
Matthew Town named after?
Now that one I don't actually know. I do believe it's probably a surname of a former plantation owner. Like you see Thurston and Strawn's Hill, and all of these settlements, Port Howe, and a lot of it named after pirates too. Some of it is a mystery as well. The Matthew Town one don't click with me right away, right? But when you look at those, and then sometimes it's geographical. So like Old Bight, New Bight. A bight is a geographical feature. The bluff, like every island have the bluff, right? Yeah. And so that's also a geographical. And I have no problem with that as well. But I think it's so much rich culture and so many things we could do. Things you get Andres. Name one of them roads, Chickchani Road. I know Sister Aaron could like that one. Name that one Chickchani Road. You do these things. We have to get serious about doing these things.
These road names were created from when they were around, like Shirley Street. Was that done during?
Sometimes, yes. So like in the case with Rossin, I do believe the Shirley Street one came a little bit after though.
Okay.
Right. And who knows, sometimes it might have been Governor Shirley's vision to do that street.
Okay.
And then it might have been done later and then named after him.
Right.
As you see with Carmichael Road, right? So it wasn't done while James Carmichael Smith was the governor, but the history, his influence in the area, and his sort of involvement in establishing, officially, I should say, that village that existed there, which was formerly known as headquarters, then called Michael Village, stuff like that. So,
I mean, the reason I ask is if I wonder if the names of some of these places are to create a certain unconscious affiliation or mindset.
Right.
For us.
Yeah, I think so, but also at the same time, let me draw another parallel. So, they have the N-word. And there's a lot of conspiracy and pseudo history going around about this N-word that is so prevalent in the Bahamas and the United States, right? And now you're seeing people saying, oh, well, where'd that come from? That come from Negus, and Negus mean king in Ethiopia, and oh no, it come from this word from the Wolof people, and that's what it. I mean, none of that. You had a bunch of ignorant, mostly Irish and Scottish overseers on plantations, and their tongue was heavy and they couldn't read and they was illiterate. And the word Negro just not evolved, but devolved into this N-word that is so prevalent today. So sometimes it ain't even that deep. Okay. My favorite historian, Dr. John Henry Clark, calls it almost like the mistaken evil genius of white supremacy, right? And so I would doubt that they say, well, you know what, we can name this Rawson Square so that in 100 years, all these black people could be in Dalton. They wasn't even that clever. Right. You understand? But it was just a part of, man, we white, we in control, we superior, so we naming this after our people. And that's the same attitude we need to take. Putting the racial part, of course, to the side. We is Bahamian. Right. This our people, this man died in our struggle for freedom. Even Blake Road. Blake Road.
Who's
that one is crazy. Another former governor. What was Blake Road before it's Blake Road?
This
Burma Road. You see?
Was it actually called Burma Road?
Yes, yes, Burma Road. So why are we not naming that after Mr. Sweet Potato Taylor, after Leonard Starr? Names we don't even know. Or a Roy McIntosh or John Johnson, the people that actually died or led the actual thing. Why are we calling it Blake Road?
So this was named Blake long after he was the governor, or when?
No, during. I do believe it was during that time because that coincided with all of this development that was going on with the airfields and the era of World War II and all of these things as well. You understand? But actually, it would have been before. It would have been after Blake, because obviously the Duke of Windsor, aka the Nazi King of England, Edward VIII. Oh, jeez. Yeah, again. Yeah. Another one. Let's get straight into him. Windsor this, Victoria this, Elizabeth this. These people were not that. Even I just gotta watch my tongue because I get nicknames for all these people. But I just call her Queen Elizabeth something, and and. People always try to paint this picture of her being such this great mom, knowing that she too was complicit in genocide, particularly in Central Africa, places like Elizabethville, and they were also complicit in one of the worst and most significant African assassinations in Patrice Lumumba in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah. But we still Victoria this and Windsor that, The man was a Nazi, for Christ's sake. I thought in this day and age, and we've even had people, they can get mad at me for this, we even had people who've received national honors who are tied to the Nazis. Yeah.
Wow.
Erica Cates, her mother, her father. Wow. I read this thing, where they're commemorating them, lotioning again. We love to do that today. I don't understand it, boy. I mean, I do, but it's frustrating. All of a sudden, I see this story about, she had a difficult early childhood because her father was not present. I said, what happened to her father? Oh, he was a POW in a Western Allied camp in Canada. And where were they from? Germany. So what that mean? The man was a Nazi. And you married in the white, and there was a choice back then, for them at least. You know what I mean? So the man chose to be a Nazi, fight for the Nazis in the war. Get captured and was a POW in Canada for a significant chunk of the childhood of a woman we have now commemorated, who was very close with people like Wallace Groves and others, Jack Haywood, let's take it to Grand Bahama. It's two families that have been essentially owning Freeport for all of these generations. And this is how, again, this evil genius of white supremacy, the UBP used to do it. where people might be desperate, people may be that, they come bring you in ham and turkey, all of a sudden it's the best person in the world. Right. It's the best person in the world. But
Christmas ham and turkey come
but you don't look at the other side and the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they making off of your buck. But people like Jack Haywood Sr., these people were overtly racist. People in England used to have to tell him, bro, chill out on the conservatism. He was a well-known ultra-conservative. He was the owner of Wolverhampton Wolves, a Premier League team where they just get relegated, but a Premier League team in the English soccer league, right? So this man was a super-duper multi-millionaire making millions and millions of dollars. And the fact that two white families could own it, and we try to do this mental gymnastics, name a school after him, you get Jack Haywood High, one of the greatest probably one of the greatest basketballing high school in the entire Caribbean, much less the Bahamas, if we want to put it out there. And there's no diss towards Jack Haywood, the hardworking educators and principals, and that outstanding sporting program that they have developed there. But we don't need to name it after Jack Haywood. Jack Haywood is a man who wanted to bring back the cat o' nine tails, bring back the scaffold. Said things publicly like, oh, well, these little British countries, he wanted to bring back the British Empire. Nigeria and Uganda and the Bahamas and Jamaica were much better off under British colonial rule. And this was said in the 21st century by him, by the way. So he didn't say this in the 1950s. He said this in the 2000s.
And there are lots of Bahamians sadly saying the same thing. This is very, very, very unfortunate. All right, so a couple more. Harold Road. Who's Harold?
That one escaped me. I think that's another governor, colonial official.
How many did we have?
Wolf Road was quite similar. The Wolf Road one perplexes me because Wolf Road was like our little Black Wall Street that was growing. At one point, all the penny savings bank and all these things was there. Even us in our lifetime, like I remember even when I was a child, I used to go to Wolf Road to Johnson Barbershop, and I used to get my hair cut. My mom used to like me to get these little military haircut, and I used to get teased to death in school because of it. But one of my boys used to call me Pharaoh and all, because I used to have the little top in the front, right? But Harold Road, I do believe, is another governor. I don't want to be quoted on that, but it is a
roads.
Right, exactly. So. But it's the
Robinson
major roads. Robinson Road as well.
Another governor?
Prince Charles Road.
Right,
Come on, man. Who is now Chucky Boy, as I like to call him, Chucky Boy over there in England, So, yeah, but we have to do better.
What about Blue? Like, is it BAILL?
So you were going to get back to that one.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of confusion about what that means.
It is not. It was never named after Isaac Blue.
Right.
Again, another person, rampant slave trader. If Isaac Bailu had his way, I would argue that the Baptist Church might not even exist.
Wow.
And you know why? Because when Sambo Scriven, the founder of Bethel Baptist Church, his former enslaver, James Scriven, died during the Revolution. They crossed British lines, became quote-unquote black loyalists. And Isaac Bailu was challenging the freedom of him, his wife Agar, and their children, saying that they're supposed to be my slaves. The same Isaac Bailu. Again, Lotion and the Loyalists in 1783. And Isaac Bailu is not the original name of that street. No. It is Blue Hills, as in the color blue.
Okay.
And throughout the Caribbean, you see that the highest point on these islands was always called like Blue Mountains in Jamaica. Yeah. Blue Hills, they have it in the blue. They have the Blue Mountains even in Dominica, I believe. It's always blue something because it's out in the distance. You could see it in the sky and it looks
blue haze.
Thank you, and has a blue haze to it. Yeah. It's not even that deep.
And
but
I think I saw an article that said that there was an article that said that they from the 1900s, the Bailu plantation was on Blue Hill Road.
Exactly.
Right?
So what's the road name?
So remember,
it's supposed
blue.
to be blue.
Yeah, it's supposed to be blue. The color blue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you remember, I did actually address it some time back. I don't know if it was on your show, but I actually have a newspaper ad for when they were selling Isaac Bailu's land.
Right.
And they described the plantation as being near the Blue Hills.
Right.
So that killed the whole thing. It wasn't attached to his name at all. Again, we just somehow like to think, and then over time, this happened like over time, and they start calling it Blue Hills. But if you look at the wall right there, where Grey Cliff and the Heritage Museum is before you, when you go up on Blue Hill Road, and then you take that left. Right on the orange wall there, the original name is right there, Blue Hill Road.
But it's so much confusion because some parts of it you'll see Belu and
Right.
some you'll see
Right.
Blue.
Right.
But it's supposed to be
I
blue
say
the whole way.
scrap all that. Let's name it after Jem Dean,
That's it.
our Maroon leader who ruled the Maroon camp in the Blue Hills, who got in a shootout with British officials, won the first one, lost the second one. They captured a close female relative of his. He's like, boy, if you don't come surrender, you know what we could do to this woman. He surrendered. All of a sudden, they stopped talking about the man, and then I found out in my seminal research, also published in my book, that he was actually lynched. Again, right there in the Nassau Public Library, a.k.a. the jail.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So much history.
Yeah.
Final ones. So
Or
most
just
of it is
Dean Road, something. But
Dean,
not,
something,
yeah, not
something.
Belu. Please, not Belu.
Thompson, as in Thompson
Thompson
Boulevard. That's another
Boulevard.
governor, or
No, Thompson is a prominent name. So some of the streets named after a prominent name that would have been there.
someone who lived there.
Right. So, especially when you go into the traditional Baintown area, you got Finlayson Street, Aeneas Street, stuff like that.
Rupert Dean Lane.
Yeah, Rupert there. And then sometimes like the person full name, you know what I mean? It usually has to do with them being grounded in the community.
Okay.
And though they are Scottish and English names, they are in fact attached to us.
Right.
You understand? And
Right.
that's one of the most sort of more modern, obvious ones is actually Bellet Road. And the Bellet family lives all along there. You know what I mean? We ain't get into how they get there, because, our people go. But, but these were some of the light-skinned set who came down, and they established themselves in the Bahamas. And if you tell a Bellet they're in Bahamian, they'll probably spit in your face and be like, what you talking about, But Bellet Road is another sort of obvious one, Then you have names that are, names of areas that have to do with the history of the area. So like Rock Crusher, for example, was where the old quarries were. And they would send people there during the colonial period as forms of punishment, and you got to go break rock.
Really?
As forms of punishment and cut stone. And some of these roads that were cut in the stone were done by hand. By some of our ancestors, the 66 steps, things like that, They call it the Queen's Staircase. I was there just yesterday. And I was like, oh, this Queen's Staircase. I mean, come on. Out of 66 steps. And of course, there were people that died, again, in the construction of it. Name it after one of them. And if we ain't know who it is, too bad. Put the plaque there, put the information there, and then we will learn about it together as a nation. Nothing wrong with that.
Wow. Okay, running out of time, so we might have to do a part 2 on this. But a couple questions on a text line. This person says that they believe Harold Road was named after Harold Christie.
No.
Is that possible?
It could be, actually. It actually could be. It could be, but I know it, but it just ain't clicking right now for some reason. But actually, could be it.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about Harold Christie,
And that's real estate.
yeah,
Right? We're talking about-
man. Listen, I think we should avoid Harold Christie for the day, because I want
that's another show.
I want you
That's
getting no
another
trouble.
show.
But
Okay.
I did talk about him yesterday on my emancipation tour with the Bahamas National Reparations Committee. In any way, shape, or form. And I'll just leave that right there.
Okay. This is a strange text. This person is obviously watching us on the text line. They're saying, your historian seems to know about Bahamian history names, wondering why he's dressed in Jamaican colors. That's not what that is.
No,
and
it's
not
not.
those
African.
of Bahamian. That's not what he's. That's
So
not
if
what
they
he's
watching, they could see this. And I mean, I
But
don't even know what to say to that.
But it's not Jamaican.
colors.
Yeah, these are, maybe they can't see properly.
Yeah,
but there ain't no red in the Jamaican flag. In case
These
you was
are
wondering.
African colors.
Right, these are the colors of Pan-Africanism. Mainly red, black, and green, but
Brings us
gold.
back to education.
Yeah, right,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
And then again, why would you look at someone comment? So if I was wearing like a Chicago Bulls jersey, you think that comment would be made? But Chicago in the Bahamas?
Right.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if I was wearing a shirt that said I love New York or I love Paris, would the same reaction come? I doubt it. Yeah.
Oh, man. And then this one here, obviously this is for another show, but this is trying to rile us up today.
Yeah, that's fine.
When will ask your guests, when will you receive reparations from the African families that profited from slavery?
No African owes reparations to any African as it comes to slavery. Again, we have been duped into thinking that Africans somehow are the only people who enslave themselves. You understand? We could do a whole show on this if you want. I will be back on Anku's show later today at 2 to talk about some of these things as well. And I find it so strange. You know, Africa is actually a continent, the most diverse place in the world with the people down to the molecular level. So I find it interesting that we sort of use these erroneous blanketing statements in order to diminish the struggle of our ancestors and, of course, to absolve those who actually profited from slavery. And in no kingdom in Africa benefited from the transatlantic slave trade. None. You could pick a specific leader, but at the end of the day, they were all victims of being enslaved. You have African royals. You have the prince of the Fante people got enslaved in Barbados, a man named Ansa Sissereku. You understand? And, you know, I hate to say it, you know, you're flirting with a line between ignorance and stupidity there. You know what I mean? Because if someone do something so horrible to you and then they tell you do it to yourself and then you believe it, it really speaks to that. But I also believe it's a part of cognitive dissonance where we have been so stripped of our dignity, so stripped of our humanity, so stripped of our testicular fortitude that we are all just a bunch of cowardly European duplicates walking around right now in African bodies. And that's all sort of a part of it. So, and then even to answer, some tribes actually have done it. And you will see the Ashanti king and many other kings from Africa that has actually gone to specific places throughout the Americas, apologize, giving money, and they're offering land. So even if you want to look at it from that standpoint, you know, some of these tribes, you could prove you from that tribe in West Africa, you won't come home, they give you land. If you get some gold on your land, you strike gold, you're lucky, and all of these things. Wow. So yeah, they have shown far more moral superiority than Europeans have.
All right, we are well over time, but I need you to answer this text in 30 seconds.
Okay.
This person saying,
I'll try.
Why does Mr. Davis seem to be so anti-white?
Am I anti-white?
I don't think you are.
Okay.
But you're anti some of the things that happened in history.
Exactly. I'm anti-chattel slavery. I'm anti-degradation and rape of African women, all women. But of course, in the context of the Bahamas, a 95% African nation with all the streets named after white people, and I'm anti-white. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. Did my DNA too. I kind of like 14% Irish. You know, Irish people is at my family reunion. And I have 18th cousin relationship to another man whose surname is Davis from Ireland. Wonder how that happened, you know? And again, we have to have some respect and decorum for our ancestors. The ancestors are not worshipped by Africans. You wouldn't find a place to do it, but they are the link between you and God. And so when you say things like that, just be, and you reach on the other side, and you see these ancestors standing there, and you say, come on now, you know what I mean? And he might be the one that standing right next to St. Peter with them keys for you, so just be careful.
Well out of time. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you,
Christopher
thank you.
John Second Davis, great to have you.
Yes.
And remember more in your book as well.
Yes. Well, I guess some more prints coming out. You'll all be fully aware, and we could do a nice little show when I do that, so you can help me send one or two. If that's okay with you.
Not a problem. Thank you again. DeQuesta Dean, thank you for being here this morning.
Enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
Apparently I won't see you next week. Is that what you're telling me? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you the week after.
You
So
shall.
you enjoy your
Absolutely.
vacation.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again soon. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party. The neighbors all came outside to chat. Some blame the weather, imagine that. The children crying no Wi-Fi today. Grandma wondering if the bill was paid. Mosquitoes smiling from ear to ear, saying the buffet is open here. Courtesy of PPL. Oh, they've got us living by candlelight. You charge your phone to 103. 5 minutes later, you're back to fanning yourself with yesterday's memories.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. You should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC is giving us some trouble. Sorry, folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Did you know that world-class medicine is just a quick flight away in Tampa? Tampa General is Florida's premier academic health system and one of America's top hospitals. Our global medicine program delivers advanced treatment options, assists with coordinating travel, and provides cultural support from a multilingual team. Discover the power of academic medicine at Tampa General's Global Medicine Program. For more, visit tgh.com.